Chapter 71 Xingcheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After spending more than 20 days, Luo Xiu led Lu Mengyao through the Guanlei Mountains and entered Dohai County. Between Yunlong County and Dohai County, there is a vast and dangerous land called Guanlei Mountains, which few Qihai warriors can cross. Even if you travel from the outside, there will often be third-level monsters appearing on the outside of the Guanlei Mountains. And occasionally there will be fourth-level monsters comparable to the Shen Lian Wuzong. Luo Xiu also relied on his life perception ability to discover the places where powerful monsters were entrenched in advance, so that he could avoid most dangers. In more than half a month, Luo Xiu also killed many second-level monsters, as well as some ordinary third-level monsters. A lot of materials from the monsters were accumulated in the storage ring. Xingcheng City in Dohai County is located near the Guanlei Mountains and is a place where many people go out to practice martial arts. Warriors take risks and experience in the Guanlei Mountains. If they obtain various treasures, they will sell them in Xingcheng City in exchange for the various training resources they need. At the entrance of Xingcheng City, two young men came, one man and one woman. The man was wearing tight-fitting black military uniforms and carrying a sword on his back. His face was as sharp as a knife, his black eyes were bright, and his expression was indifferent. The woman is beautiful, with a delicate face, and her eyes are as bright as autumn water, with a touch of sadness. The man and woman who came to Xingcheng City were Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao. The cost of entering the city is a low-grade vitality stone, which is nothing to any warrior in the Qi Si realm. Xingcheng City is very prosperous. Although the area is not as large as Yunlong County City, the atmosphere filled with martial arts and chilling atmosphere is far from the quiet and peaceful Yunlong County City. As far as Luo Xiu knows, there are 13 counties and 8 states in the Tianwu Kingdom. Among the 13 counties, Yunlong County ranks 12th, which is far less prosperous than Dohai County, while Dohai County ranks 7th. Compared with the situation in Yunlong County where the Xiaoyao sect is the dominant family, Dohai County has a complicated situation. Detailed information about the Guanlei Mountains. When you walk into the city, you can hear people selling various maps and treasure information. Some of them are true or false, but almost everything is related to the Guanlei Mountains. In addition, there are introductions to Dohai County and the major forces in Xingcheng City, as well as a simplified map. Maps are undoubtedly precious things. For many warriors who have experienced in the Guanlei Mountains, a simple map is priceless. Luo Xiu had it because he got it from the Hunters Guild. The more vast and dangerous the area, the more difficult it is to draw a map. In the Hunters Guild, only internal genius members have permission to obtain simplified map information of some areas. The simplified distribution map of Xingcheng City was sold for 2 low-grade vitality stones. Luo Xiu bought one after entering the city. According to the instructions on the map, Luo Xiu did not go to the Hunters Guild, but took Lu Mengyao to Lei first. The residence of Liwoman is also considered a big force in Dohai County, and it naturally has a presence in a prosperous place like Xingcheng City. However, before Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao reached Liwoman Station, a young man wearing a fiery red gown appeared in front of them and blocked their way. The young man in red shirt had a rebellious look on his face, and behind him stood 2 followers holding swords. "Are you too new to Xingcheng City?" the young man in red shirt asked, but his eyes were always fixed on Lu Mengyao. Luo Xiu frowned. He could feel that this young man in red shirt was not doing well. It was just that he had just arrived in Xingcheng City and did not want to cause trouble, but before Luo Xiu could speak, the young man in red shirt's eyes fell on him and said lightly, "The woman next to you is pretty good, she will follow me from now on." Luo Xiu's expression changed. He didn't expect this young man in red shirt to act so boldly. Looking at his unruly attitude and his nostrils pointing to the sky, it was obvious that he should be an important figure in a big force in Xingcheng City. He didn't put other people at all. In eyes, he glanced at Lu Mengyao and saw her shaking her head in panic. She was obviously a little scared and worried because she had encountered such a thing when she first came to Dohai County. Lu Mengyao stood behind Luo Xiu, holding the corner of his clothes tightly with her little hands. She knew very well that she was helpless, and the only one she could rely on was Luo Xiu. The young man in red shirt frowned. "No one in Xingcheng City dares to reject me, Yan Qiu." As he spoke, the two followers behind him exuded a chilling aura. Luo Xiu held back his anger. He knew very well that in this world, fist strength would speak for itself, and the other party would not take him, a small Qi warrior, seriously at all, but this young man in red shirt is so arrogant and aggressive. For Luo Xiu, the cultivation level of this young man in red shirt was not a concern. He was only at the 6th level of Qi. However, the two followers behind him were extraordinary. They were both innate first-level martial arts masters. "Ha, this woman is pretty. No wonder you fall in love with her, Yan Qiu." At this moment, a burst of laughter came from a girl wearing a green skirt, followed by an old man with a white beard. The girl in the green dress is not very old, but she is already at the 7th level of Qi. The white-bearded old man behind her is even higher, reaching the 4th level of innate cultivation. "Girl of the Duan family, do you want to ruin my good deeds again?" The young man in red shirt named Yan Qiu looked cold. The girl in the green dress named Duan snorted coldly. "Who are you, Yan Qiu?" Everyone in Xingcheng city, old and young, women and children, knows that you have practiced the yin-picking technique. In just over half a month, you have already ruined it. Have you married a dozen girls? Otherwise, you can reach the 6th level of Qi with your half-hearted talent. Hearing what the girl in the green skirt said, the young man in the red shirt named Yan Qiu became furious, and the two immediately started quarreling on the street. From the quarrel and conversation between the two, Luo Xiu could tell that Yan Qiu, the young man in red shirt, seemed to be a little afraid of the girl in green skirt named Duan. Luo Xiu has also heard of the yin gathering technique. It is an evil technique that harvests yin and replenishes yang. It is a 6th grade high-grade skill. There are no requirements for cultivation qualifications. As long as there are enough women who harvest yin, the cultivation level will be easy. Can be improved quickly. At the same time, Luo Xiu also noticed that there were no people watching the excitement on the nearby streets. Even if someone looked over curiously, they would take a careful look and leave quickly, not daring to come near at all. It can be seen that the identities of these two people in Xingcheng city should be very unusual. Duan Hong'er, this young master is going to make a decision today. Don't think that because your Duan family has the backing of Lei Wu sect, you can ignore my Yan family in Xingcheng city. Yan Qiu pointed behind Luo Xiu. Lu Mengyao said, "Duan family? Lei woman?" Hearing Yan Qiu's words, Luo Xiu immediately remembered that one of the purposes of coming to Dohai County this time was to send Lu Mengyao to Lei woman. As far as he knew, Lu Feichen left a token to Lu Mengyao before his death. As long as he relied on this token, he could join the Lei Wu sect. Lu Mengyao was smart and naturally thought of this, and quickly took out a token with the word Lei Wu on it. Lei Wu token. Seeing the token in Lu Mengyao's hand, both Duan Hong'er and Yan Qiu exclaimed in surprise. It can be seen from the expressions of these two people that this thunder martial token seems to be extraordinary. "Sister, where did your token come from?" Duan Hong'er stepped forward and asked, staring at the token in Lu Mengyao's hand. "My father left it to me," Lu Mengyao said truthfully. "Can you transfer this token of yours to me? You can set whatever conditions you want," Duan Hong'er said. As soon as Duan Hong'er said these words, Luo Xiu immediately knew that the Lei Wu token should not be simple. Lu Mengyao obviously understood this without him having to say it. Moreover, this token was left to her by her father, so naturally it could not be transferred to an outsider. "Sorry, I can't give you what my father left for me," Lu Mengyao refused. I want the Lei Wu token, master." Yan Qiu on the side suddenly laughed and stared at the Lei Wu token in Lu Mengyao's hand. "Matsuyama Erxiong, grab the Lei Wu token from me. I want the token, and I want this woman too," Yan Qiu ordered directly. "Yes," the two followers behind Yan Qiu responded, and one of them instantly reached out to grab the Lei Wu token in Lu Mengyao's hand. "Miss, do you want me to snatch the token?" The old man behind Duan Hong'er whispered. Duan Hong'er's eyes flickered. She knew very well that holding the Lei Wu token could directly become the core disciple of Lei Wu's sect. Although the Duan family had some influence in Xingcheng city, they were only equivalent to the outer vassals of Lei Wu's sect. Chang. Luo Xiu also took action instantly, and the shadow sword brought out a black sword light. The two heroes of Matsuyama who took action drew their swords at the same time. There was a clang sound, the swords collided together, and sparks flew everywhere. Luo Xiu used his strength to retreat, pulled Lu Mengyao, turned around and ran towards the nearest city gate. He also knew that going to the Hunters' Guild was the best choice. These people would never dare to take action in the guild, but the current location was too far away from the guild. Luo Xiu, the second male of Xuanhuan who was born with the first level of cultivation, didn't care, but he was afraid of the old man who was following Duan Hong'er who was at the fourth level. The two sides started fighting in the street, and the street suddenly became chaotic. Pedestrians everywhere hurriedly hid aside for fear of harming Qiyu. Mr. Lu. Duan Hong'er winked at the white-bearded old man beside him. Mr. Lu nodded and disappeared into the crowd in a flash. Naturally, Yan Qiu also noticed this scene, and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Although the two heroes of Matsuyama were both born at the first level, they were good at joining forces to attack. They were invincible up to the middle level of innate level. On the streets of Xuexing City, Luo Xiu pulled Lu Mengyao and ran at high speed, followed closely by Matsuyama Erxiong, and the distance between the two parties became closer and closer. Because Lu Mengyao had to be brought along, Luo Xiu's speed could not be fully developed. "Guard, stop the two people in front of me," Matsuyama Erxiong shouted to the guard at the city gate from a distance. The city gate guards naturally knew them, the two deacons of the Yen family, and each of them unsheathed their swords and blocked the city gate. At the same time, two other people began to close the city gate. Once the city gate was closed, it would be a turtle in the urn, and there would be no way to escape. There were still many people going in and out of the city at the city gate, and it became chaotic at this moment. Everyone retreated to the side for fear of harming Qiyu. Luo Xiu's face was expressionless, while Lu Mengyao had a worried look on his face. Suddenly, Luo Xiu pulled Lu Mengyao's hand slightly, lifted her body up, and carried her on his back. Two soft masses on the chest squeezed Luo Xiu's back, making Lu Mengyao frown in pain, and then she felt a whistling wind echoing in her ears. Luo Xiu opened at full speed, bringing up a series of 8 afterimages wherever he passed, rushing towards the city gate. Chapter 72 Murder Outside the City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The guards at the city gate are mostly warriors in the body refining realm, and the guard captain among them is only at the 3rd level of Qi Si. It is naturally impossible for a guy of this level of strength to stop Luo Xiu. Chang, that every time the shadow sword cuts through the air and makes a sharp whistle, blood will splash and fly. He knows very well that if he wants to survive in this world, he must not be merciful. He must be ruthless, and decisive in dealing with his enemies. The remaining shadows in the 10 directions of Deshang realm did not slow down at all. Luo Xiu's speed increased instead of falling. The two guards who tried to close the city gate had their throats slit by the shadow sword before they could react. The brave maniac actually killed the city guards, that there was a sound of wild beasts galloping. Luo Xiu looked back and saw Yan Qiu riding a one-horned horse chasing after him. This one-horned main horse is a level 3 monster with extremely fast feet. The instantaneous acceleration may not be as good as Luo Xiu, but it is extremely durable. It is not like Luo Xiu using his body skills to gallop, which consumes a lot of energy. Mount. Seeing that the two heroes of Xuanhuan could not catch up with Luo Xiu, Yan Qiu immediately shouted and asked these two innate masters to ride with him. The back of the horn-maned horse is wide, so 3 people can ride together without being crowded, and the speed is not affected in the slightest. The outline of Xingcheng became smaller and smaller behind him, becoming increasingly blurry. 2 hours later, Luo Xiu stopped and turned to look at the 3 people chasing after him on one-horned horses. After 2 hours of running, this was a deserted and open grassland. In Luo Xiu's life perception, no other pursuers were found. If there were just 2 innate first-level martial arts masters, Luo Xiu would not be afraid at all, so naturally there would be no need to escape. As for Yan Qiu, who was at the 6th level of Qi Si, he was ignored by Luo Xiu. Matsuyama Erxiong, you guys, please destroy this kid first. A sinister smile appeared on Yan Qiu's face. Matsuyama Erxiong didn't say a word. Although they were innate martial arts masters, even if they were dealing with a Qi-Hai martial artist, they both attacked at the same time. this is a habit they have developed for more than 10 years, and their cooperation in this habit has become more and more tacit, which allowed them to kill several innate 3rd level and even 4th level masters in the 1st level innate realm with the help of joint attacks. The swords in the two men's hands were unsheathed. One of them slashed at Luo Xiu's arm, and the other slashed at Luo Xiu's legs. They obviously followed Yan Qiu's order to destroy his limbs first. Luo Xiu could feel the tacit cooperation between the two heroes of Matsuyama, which almost blocked all his escape routes. No matter how sophisticated his movements were, it would be difficult to dodge this joint attack. Deadly sword. Luo Xiu circulated his true energy, and the netherworld death flame rose from the shadow sword, and he directly used the second form of the Aurora sword technique. Both the power and the speed of the sword were stronger than the first form of the flash sword. There was no expression on the faces of Matsuyama or Xiong. They were very confident in their combined attack skills. Not to mention a Qihai warrior, even an innate martial artist could not escape intact, but when Luo Xiu waved the sword in his hand, their eyes suddenly widened, and their pupils were full of shock. Chang! Chang! .2 sonorous sound sounded, sparks flew everywhere, and a cold energy containing death was transmitted to the body through the sword, making them feel that their life force was being continuously devoured and eroded. What a fast sword, what a weird energy. Matsuyama Xiong's expression changed instantly. The two of them slashed out their swords almost at the same time, but the other party was able to block them at the same time. This shows that his sword-throwing speed was extremely fast, and he almost swung the two swords at the same time. In the world of martial arts, speed is the only thing that cannot be broken. Although fast swords are scary, it is not difficult for Matsuyama Nishiong, who is good at joint attacks, but what really makes them fearful is the strange energy transmitted to the body through the sword. The arm holding the knife is affected by the energy and is a little numb. The two of them didn't know that the energy transmitted by the nether death flame through the collision of swords had damaged the life veins of their sword-holding arms. Because Luo Xiu's cultivation was low, the energy transmitted was not strong, otherwise it would only be this one blow can destroy one of their arms. Compared with martial arts masters in the innate realm, Luo Xiu is even better than many innate martial arts masters in terms of martial arts and body skills. The advantage of an innate martial artist lies in the powerful innate qi that contains the power of attributes, and Luo Xiu's netherworld death flame can just make up for this. This is what allows him to compete head-on with an innate martial artist. Although his cultivation level is at the 5th level of Qi Si, in all aspects of the whole, he has actually reached the level of around the 4th level of Xiantian. Matsuyama Xiong looked at each other, and without any words, they understood each other's meaning. The strange black energy was scary, so they planned to use a joint attack technique to win with one blow. Qinyan Shuanglong. Both Matsuyama and Xiong's bodies glowed with cyan light. Their true energy contained the power of the wood attribute, which was the innate wood-based true energy. They held a knife in one hand and cast seals in the other, and the innate true energy rays on their bodies merged together. Roar! There seemed to be a vague dragon roar, and the two heroes of Matsuyama slashed at the same time. The light of the two swords converged, forming a phantom-like green dragon, roaring and rushing towards Luo Xiu. The power of this strike is comparable to a full-strength strike from a 4th-level innate martial artist. Luo Xiu took out a yellow jade talisman from the storage ring, crushed it with force, and a curtain of light enveloped his body. The jade talisman is a treasure refined by the array master. Luo Xiu used a 3rd-level defensive jade talisman made of topaz. Aurora sword. At the same time, Luo Xiu also performed the 3rd and strongest form of the Aurora sword technique. Luo Xiu has not yet reached a perfect level in the 5th grade martial art of Aurora sword technique, so the Aurora sword technique cannot exert its full power. Despite this, the power of the Aurora sword is far more powerful than the flash sword and the death sword. With a puff, the azure dragon phantom formed by the condensed innate true energy was split open by the shadow sword. The violent azure light surged, all of which was blocked by the defensive light curtain on Luo Xiu's body. Matsuyama Xiong was stunned and dumbfounded. He never expected that a Qihai warrior could actually block the secret technique of combined attack. Luo Xiu naturally couldn't give Matsuyama Xiong a chance to continue to use the secret technique of joint attack. With a flash of his body, he appeared directly in front of one of them, and the shadow sword flashed across the sky like black lightning. Without the help of the secret technique of combined attack, Matsuyama Urshiong's strength is not much different from that of ordinary innate first-level martial arts masters, so facing Luo Xiu's extremely fast sword, they couldn't defend themselves at all. Puff! Puff! 2 streaks of blood spurted out, and Matsuyama Urshiong's body fell to the ground. Yan Qiu, who was riding a one-horned horse not far away, stared at this scene in a daze. Together, Matsuyama Urshiong, who could compete with a 4th-level innate martial artist, was actually killed by a Qi-Hai warrior. You, who are you? Even though he saw it with his own eyes, Yan Qiu still looked at Luo Xiu in disbelief. How could a Qi-Hai warrior have such a powerful strength? This was simply against common sense. Go to the underworld and ask the king of hell. Luo Xiu snorted coldly, murderous intent surged in his body, and he unfolded his shadow body skills from all directions. The shadow sword shook, and the sword light was as black as a rainbow. Yan Qiu's first reaction was to escape on a horned horse, but before he could make a move, the shadow sword pierced his neck directly. Yan Qiu opened his mouth, his eyes widened, and blood was pouring from his mouth. His heart was full of unwillingness. He was the young master of the Yan family in Xingcheng city, and he died like this? Whether outside Yunlong County or in the Guanlei Mountains, Lu Mengyao had seen Luo Xiu kill people before, so he didn't have much feeling about Luo Xiu killing Yan Qiu and the others. When Luo Xiu put her down from his back, she suddenly realized that Luo Xiu had been carrying her on his back when he killed 2 innate martial masters. Suddenly being put down, Lu Mengyao felt a faint feeling of loss in her heart. Luo Xiu didn't say anything, and he didn't know what Lu Mengyao was thinking. He skillfully put away the treasures stored in the 3 corpses, and then said to Lu Mengyao, with this one-horned main horse, we need to do it as soon as possible. Leave here. Yan Qiu dared to bully men and women in Xingcheng city, so he must have some background. It is conceivable that the forces behind him would definitely launch a pursuit order. Where are we going? Along the way from Yunlong County, Lu Mengyao had no idea. Luo Xiu had always decided which way to go and which direction to go. Guanlei Mountain Range. Luo Xiu pointed to the looming mountains and forests in the hazy mist in the distance, having just come out of the Guanlei Mountains, but having to go back again. Luo Xiu felt helpless. Jumping up and riding on the back of the one-horned horse, Luo Xiu stretched out his hand to Lu Mengyao and pulled her up. Drive. The one-horned main horse had a gentle temperament. As Luo Xiu clamped his legs on the horse's belly, it galloped towards the Guanlei Mountains. Not long after, Mr. Lu, a white-bearded old man, appeared and saw 3 corpses lying on the ground in a pool of blood. What a sharp swordsmanship! Mr. Lu looked at the traces of battle at the scene and the wounds on the 3 corpses, and his expression suddenly became solemn. He is an innate 4th-level martial artist, and if he were to face the 2 heroes of Matsuyama, he would not be completely sure of winning. According to Mr. Lu's original plan, he was preparing to ambush on the only way back to Xingcheng city, attack Yan Qiu and Xuanhuan Urshiong on their way back from grabbing the Leiwu token, and then seize the Leiwu token, but he didn't expect that Yan Qiu and Xuanhuan Urshiong not only failed to grab the Leiwu token, but also lost their lives. Did a master appear and rescue them? Or was there a hidden master protecting the young man and woman? Mr. Lu frowned and speculated, not thinking that this was done by a Qi-Hai warrior. Escaped into the Guanlei Mountains. Mr. Lu saw the hoof prints of the one-horned horse on the ground and looked in the direction of the Guanlei Mountains. Taking out the sound transmission box, Lu Laodang informed the Duan family of Xingcheng about what happened here. Yan Qiu is the only biological son of the head of the Yan family. If something like this happened, it would undoubtedly cause an uproar in Xingcheng city. Soon, the Yan family also learned the news. The head of the family, Yan Yuanji, was furious and issued a wanted order throughout the city. At the same time, a large number of experts were sent into the Guanlei Mountains to capture the murderer. In addition to the Yan family, the Duan family also sent troops, because the 2 families knew very well that the other family had a Leiwu token in their hands. No matter which family can get this Leiwu token, they can get endless benefits. If it cannot be snatched, then once the person holding the Leiwu token becomes the core disciple of Leiwu sect, or uses the token to ask Leiwu sect to Destroy the Yen family and the Duan family, it will be even more catastrophic. So, no matter what, they must catch the two young men and women. Chapter 73 Seizing the Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Guanlei mountain range is vast, and Xingcheng's Yan and Duan families have sent quite a few troops, but trying to find two people in this vast and endless old forest is like finding a needle in a haystack. Luo Xiu also thought so in his heart, so he chose to escape into the Guanlei mountains. At sunset, Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao entered a valley. There were flowers and grass everywhere in the valley, but it was silent. In Luo Xiu's perception, except for the life breath of the vegetation, there was no breath of any other living things. Let's get out of here. The weirdness of this valley made Luo Xiu wary, and his first reaction was to pull Lu Mengyao away from here, but at this moment, a black mist suddenly rose at the entrance of the valley, and a cold breath spread, making Luo Xiu feel cold all over. Lu Mengyao, who was beside him, could not help but tremble with her delicate body, and her pretty face turned pale. What's going on? Lu Mengyao had a frightened look in her eyes, which came from the fear of unknown things. Luo Xiu felt the life and death pearl tremble slightly. As soon as the cold aura that spread across his body approached, it was instantly absorbed by the life and death pearl, and the bone-piercing coldness on his body disappeared without a trace. In just a short moment, the entire valley was shrouded in black mist, and the entrance and exit could not be seen at all. It was like a huge formation, trapping him and Lu Mengyao here. The invasion of the cold breath made Lu Mengyao's lips turn blue and her whole body became cold. Even if she circulated her true energy, she could not offset this coldness, and it had no effect at all. Seeing that Lu Mengyao was about to fall to the ground, Luo Xiu quickly supported her, and immediately felt that her body was filled with cold aura. However, when the two of them came into contact, this cold and strange aura was absorbed by the life and death in Luo Xiu's body. The beads were absorbed. Lu Mengyao, who was almost unconscious, woke up and grabbed Luo Xiu in fear, not daring to let go. Luo Xiu, what the hell is this place? That ever since the Xiaoyao sect suffered an unexpected incident, and her father was seriously injured and died in the battle for the leadership, her experiences again and again have made her fearful and insecure. Now, the only person she can rely on is Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu put his arms around Lu Mengyao and asked her to lean against him, so that she would not be invaded by the cold breath. I think we must have entered the Ghost Valley by mistake. Luo Xiu said in a deep voice. On the simplified map of the Guanlei mountains he obtained, Guan Valley was marked, which was a red area. Red marks on the map also meant dangerous places. Ghostine Valley. Lu Mengyao's face turned ugly. The Guanlei mountain range is located between Yunlong County and Dohai County. It is also the place where the most warriors from the two counties gather for training. There are two dangerous places in the Guanlei mountains, and Guan Valley is one of them, which makes countless warriors from the two major counties change their expressions when they talk about it. The entire valley was filled with black mist, filled with the cold breath of death, based on the induction of the life and death pearl. Luo Xiu looked into the depths of the valley. Follow me. Luo Xiu took Lu Mengyao's hand, and the two of them walked cautiously towards the direction where the life and death pearl was sensing. Since he can't find an exit for the time being, Luo Xiu simply wants to find out what is going on in this ghostly valley. The death aura contained in these black mist is a fatal threat to other warriors, but for Luo Xiu who possesses the life and death pearl, repairing it will not have any impact. Seeing Luo Xiu actually pulling her into the depths of Ghostine Valley, Lu Mengyao's delicate body couldn't help but shudder. However, she also knew that she could not find the exit, so she could only follow Luo Xiu closely. Her body was exhausted. Almost pressed against him. Jie. Suddenly, a strange and sinister laughter came from the depths of the valley. The laughter seemed to come from all directions. The black mist nearby also rolled violently, and the cold breath of death became more and more intense. What's so sneaky? Luo Xiu shouted angrily. At this moment, the rolling mist nearby suddenly transformed into a huge skull, opening its mouth and releasing a huge devouring force. Ah! Lu Mengyao let out a scream. On the one hand, she was frightened by the huge black skull, and on the other hand, it was also because the devouring power was very strong. Once swallowed by the skull, God knows what would happen. Luo Xiu pulled out the shadow sword and inserted it into the ground, but the powerful devouring power still kept pulling him. The shadow sword plowed a ravine on the ground and continued to approach the black skull. If this continues, it will only be a matter of time before he is devoured by the skull. The first picture of the original law appeared subconsciously in Luo Xiu's mind, and the wheels of life and death in the Dantian Qi Si began to rotate rapidly at this moment. Seal of life and death. Luo Xiu made a seal with his fingers, and the power of life and death entangled in black and white surged out, condensing the shadow of the wheels of life and death on his chest. As Luo Xiu pushed his palm forward, the palm-sized shadow of the wheel of life and death flew out and blasted towards the huge skull condensed in black mist. Boom! With a loud noise, the huge black skull shattered, and waves of cold death continued to surge towards Luo Xiu and enter his body. All these breaths were absorbed by the life and death pearl, and then spewed out the power of life and death, flowing between the meridians of the whole body and the bones of the limbs. Click! There seemed to be some kind of shackles in the body that were broken open. Luo Xiu's aura suddenly rose, and his cultivation suddenly reached the 6th level of Qi Si. I see. Luo Xiu's eyes flashed with light. He discovered that the black mist surging in the valley contained the power of death. He could use the life and death pearl to absorb and refine it for his own use and improve his cultivation. The effect of improving one's cultivation is countless times better than swallowing the vitality of heaven and earth. Otherwise, his cultivation would not have been able to break through to the 6th level of Qi Si so quickly. The power of life and death. He is clearly just a mere Qihai warrior, but he is actually proficient in the power of life and death. A cry of surprise came from deep in the valley. Pretend to be a ghost. Luo Xiu sneered at the corner of his mouth, and immediately led Lu Mengyao to continue walking deeper into the valley. The power of death is terrifying to other warriors, but it is a tonic to him. The existence hidden in this ghost valley is just restrained by him, so Luo Xiu naturally does not have to be afraid of him. The wheels of life and death were spinning rapidly in the Dantian Qi Si. Wherever Luo Xiu passed by, the black mist continued to merge into his body, which quickly promoted his cultivation from the early stage of the 6th level of Qi Si to the middle stage of the 6th level of Qi Si. And it continues to improve. A moment later, Luo Xiu saw a cave deep in the valley. The aura of death permeating the entire valley was derived from this cave. Luo Xiu did not rush into the cave, but sat cross-legged on the ground, running the wheels of life and death with all his strength. The 9 diagrams of the original laws of the wheels of life and death actually contain the secrets of martial arts. Luo Xiu comprehended a hint of the secrets from them and integrated them with the pure yang kung fu. In fact, the Chunyang Gong is supposed to cultivate pure yang qi, but because of the life and death pearl, Luo Xiu modified the original operation route of Chunyang Gong, and what he cultivated was the life and death qi. Therefore, in fact, the exercises Luo Xiu practiced were no longer pure yang exercises. As soon as the technique was activated, the black mist in the entire valley gathered crazily towards Luo Xiu, and the whole person was enveloped in the black mist. Lu Mengyao didn't know what was going on. When she found that she was no longer attacked by the cold aura, she knew that Luo Xiu must have thought of some way, so she stood beside Luo Xiu to protect him, carefully watching the movements around her. In just a short moment, the black mist in the entire valley became thinner and thinner as Luo Xiu absorbed it. Suddenly, a voice came into Luo Xiu's ears, "Stop, don't smoke anymore." Luo Xiu snorted coldly and turned a deaf ear to this. Soon, all the black mist in the valley was absorbed by him. Most of it was swallowed by the life and death beads, although only a small part was transformed by the life and death beads and turned into the life and death true energy. It also allowed his cultivation to rise to the 7th level of Qi Si in just a short moment. No matter what, Luo Xiu continued to run the wheel of life and death. A death energy that was purer than the black mist escaped from the cave and was absorbed by Luo Xiu in an instant. "Young man, don't go too far. If you still want to leave from here, I advise you to stop." The voice coming from the cave carried a hint of threat. "This valley is blocked by my formation. Don't say that you are just a Qi-Hai warrior. Even if you are in the Martial King realm, if you don't have the attainments of a 6th level formation mage, don't even think about it. Go out." Why should I believe your words that you would be so kind to let us go? Luo Xiu sneered. Humph, I, Su Jingyun, am a strong martial artist, and I don't even bother to lie to you, a stingy Qi-Hai martial artist. The voice in the cave snorted coldly. Martial Lord? Luo Xiu narrowed his eyes slightly. In the realm of martial arts practice, after King Wu, there is Lord Wu. In the vast land of Yunlong County, there is no strong man of Wujuan level, and the overlord force like Xiaoyao sect is just the king of Wu. The overall strength of Dohai County is stronger than that of Yunlong County, but as far as Luo Xiu knows, the most powerful one seems to be only the 7th level of King Wu. It is said that strong men at the Wujuan level can only be found in the 8 states of Tianwu Kingdom and in Tianwu Kingdom, with a powerful existence of this level, one person can easily destroy big forces like Xiaoyao sect and Leiwu sect. As for the name Su Jingyun, Luo Xiu had never heard of it. In the cave, Luo Xiu sensed a group of soul breath entrenched. It is said that after martial arts cultivation reaches the realm of refining gods, the warrior's soul will condense into a soul. He did not sense the breath of life, which means that this Su Jingyun should have no physical body. The soul is left. Luo Xiu has never heard of anyone who can survive with the help of his soul. Even a strong man in the martial lord realm will dissipate once his physical body is destroyed. Generally, only with the help of special treasures can a person who has lost his physical body be able to survive. The soul survives. This should undoubtedly be the case for Su Jingyun hiding in the cave. Just as Luo Xiu was pondering, the majestic soul breath deep in the cave suddenly surged out. You can control the power of life and death in the realm of Qi-Hai. You must have received a great opportunity. I, Su Jingyun, will use your body to be reborn. A cold laughter echoed in Luo Xiu's mind, and the majestic power of the soul swarmed into his body. Seize the body. Luo Xiu's expression changed. He had heard that strong men above the realm of refining gods could seize the body and devour the souls or souls of other warriors before their souls were eliminated, thereby occupying their bodies. Chapter 74 In Stone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Warriors in the Qi-Si realm cannot yet open the sea of soul consciousness. Only those who have reached the innate realm and become a martial artist can have the power of soul perception, which is the so-called divine consciousness. If one reaches the realm of the god-refining martial sect, one's soul can be condensed into a soul, and the consciousness becomes even more powerful. The so-called body seizing is to use the power of the soul to penetrate into the other party's sea of consciousness, devour the other party's soul, and thereby occupy the other party's body. So when Su Jingyun's soul power poured into Luo Xiu's sea of consciousness, his consciousness was also forcibly pulled into his own sea of consciousness. Luo Xiu's soul has been integrated with the life and death pearl. In the gray sea of consciousness space, a black and white bead is suspended. What is this? Su Jingyun's soul power turned into a humanoid shadow and appeared in Luo Xiu's sea of consciousness. He saw the life and death bead in Luo Xiu's sea of consciousness, and it seemed that he could feel the mystery of the origin of life and death from it. Su Jingyun himself is a strong martial artist who cultivates the power of death. The moment he saw the life and death pearl, he immediately knew that it was an incredible treasure. If he could obtain it, his future achievements would be limitless. God has been so kind to me and allowed me to have such an opportunity. Su Jingyun laughed loudly and reached out to grab the life and death bead. He had discovered that the soul of this Qi-Hai warrior was integrated with the bead. As long as he refined the bead, he could not only obtain treasures, but also refine the opponent's soul. Possessing a body. However, at this moment, an ancient aura of vicissitude spread out from the life and death pearl. Before Su Jingyun's hand could touch the life and death pearl, it disintegrated, shattered and disappeared. Immediately afterwards, a devouring force emitted from the life and death pearl, pulling Su Jingyun's soul and spirit directly over and putting it into the life and death pearl. Luo Xiu was stunned. The next moment, his consciousness had entered the world inside the life and death pearl. Above the head is the endless galaxy of the universe, and the star-like light spots are the traces of life of a certain creature in the universe. The ancient cycle of reincarnation hangs in the air, eternal and eternal, even though the life and death pearl has undergone changes one inheritor after another. Only this reincarnation that controls the life and death of all things will never change. Weak successor. The voice of the spirit of reincarnation sounded, as if echoing in the vast starry sky of the universe. The last time he came here, Luo Xiu got the 9 original law diagrams of the wheels of life and death, as well as the practice method of Kuai Jian Ju. The former can be obtained by every inheritor of the origin of life and death, and the latter is when he breaks through the Qi-Si realm. The gift of the original law, the spirit of reincarnation said that only when his cultivation level breaks through the sea of Qi and reaches the innate realm, can he come here again to receive another gift from the original law, and he has not yet reached the innate realm, but he is here again. Last time, it was because his life was threatened; this time, it was because he was almost snatched away. Weak successor, you should be glad that the person who took away your body was only a small martial lord, and it was just a broken soul. The voice of the spirit of reincarnation did not have the slightest emotion. If the person who takes your body is a strong man who has stepped into the realm of the Martial Emperor, you may be dead, and the reincarnation of life and death will choose its own master and the next successor. Protected by the law of life and death, when your life is threatened for the first time, and when your body is taken away for the first time, in accordance with the will of the law, I can only help you once. I hope you can take care of yourself, weak successor. The spirit of reincarnation did not give Luo Xiu a chance to speak. After it finished speaking, a feeling of dizziness emerged, and then Luo Xiu's consciousness retreated and returned to his body. When Luo Xiu opened his eyes, he saw Lu Mengyao looking at him with a worried look, thinking about the experience of almost having his body taken away from him this time. He still felt a little frightened. After all, he was still too weak. If he didn't have the life and death pearl, he, a small Qi-Hai warrior, would have been successfully snatched away by Su Jingyun. A pure soul power escaped from the life and death pearl, and was then absorbed by Luo Xiu's own soul. He knew that this was the soul power contained in Su Jingyun's broken soul. As for Su Jingyun, a strong martial artist, his own consciousness contained in his soul was directly obliterated by the original law and the life and death pearl, speaking of which, Su Jingyun was also unlucky. The spirit of reincarnation obeyed the original law and would only protect the successor when his body was taken away for the first time. Su Jingyun happened to catch up with this first time, and it was also a fate. After a while, Luo Xiu absorbed this soul power and was pleasantly surprised to find that he could vaguely sense objects within a range of more than 100 meters without using his eyes to see. This is soul perception. Luo Xiu was surprised and happy. As far as he knew, only martial arts masters who have reached the innate realm can possess this kind of soul perception. And some relatively weak innate martial arts masters don't even have this ability, but he, a warrior at the 6th level of Qi-Si, already possesses this ability. Although Su Jingyun died, the aura of death that filled the cave ahead did not dissipate. Wait for me here. Luo Xiu had absorbed and refined all the death energy in the valley, so he planned to enter the cave to explore. The cave was filled with the aura of death, and Lu Mengyao couldn't resist, so he simply asked her to wait outside. Be careful. Lu Mengyao nodded. She didn't know what Luo Xiu had just done, but she could feel that he must have done something extraordinary, which made her feel that she didn't understand Luo Xiu even more. The young man is full of mystery. She knew there must be some secret in Luo Xiu's body, otherwise it would be impossible to explain why he had improved so quickly in both cultivation and strength in less than a year. The cave is cold and damp. The deeper you go, the stronger and purer the air of death becomes. Suddenly, Luo Xiu felt a stinging pain in the sole of his foot. When he looked closely, he saw a fragment the size of a fingernail. It was the fragment he stepped on just now and stabbed the sole of his foot. The material of the fragments was special. As he continued to dig deeper, he found more than a dozen similar fragments. If these fragments were combined together, they should be an earth-level warrior. Luo Xiu guessed that this weapon should be the weapon used by Su Jingyun during his lifetime. He didn't know what kind of opponent he encountered. Not only was the weapon broken, but his body also disappeared, leaving only a broken soul lingering. After a while, Luo Xiu came to the deepest part of the cave and traced the source of the death aura. He saw a black stone the size of a fist, and next to this black stone, I saw a mangled corpse. The skeleton's left hand was wearing a storage ring, and there were some fragments of soldiers or armor on the ground. These bones should be those of Su Jingyun, the powerful martial lord. Luo Xiu approached cautiously, and after making sure there was no danger, he reached out and grabbed the black stone. The moment he grabbed the black stone, a bone-chilling breath flowed into his body, making him feel that his body suddenly became numb and stiff. It's actually a Yin stone. You're a weak heir. You're lucky. The voice of the spirit of reincarnation suddenly appeared in Luo Xiu's mind. Normally, the spirit of reincarnation would ignore him, but this time it suddenly made a noise. It was obvious that this thing it called the Yin stone must be very extraordinary. The Yin stone contains Yin Qi, which is a kind of power of death. Absorbing and refining it can improve your cultivation a lot. Are there many kinds of power of death? Luo Xiu couldn't help but ask doubtfully. That's right, but wrong, because the pure power of life, or the power of death, already belongs to the category of law, and under the law, there are also powers of many attributes that contain the breath of death. For example, among Yin and Yang, the Yin attribute contains the breath of death, and the Yang attribute contains the breath of life. Even if it is sublimated to the level of laws, the laws of life and death must override the laws of Yin and Yang. The Yin stone in front of you is of average quality, but for you, a Qi warrior, it is enough for you to use. Luo Xiu couldn't understand what the spirit of reincarnation said, but he knew that this Yin stone had a great effect on improving his cultivation. Luo Xiu immediately put away the Yin stone, and then took off the ring on the left hand of Su Jinyan's corpse. There were tens of thousands of middle-grade Yuan Qi stones piled inside, and there were even hundreds of high-grade Yuan Qi stones. In addition, there were 2 jade slips, which made Luo Xiu's eyes light up. As far as he knew, jade slips could only be engraved with divine consciousness by those who were above the level of the divine refining martial sect. They must have reached the innate realm and possessed the power of soul perception before they could examine the contents of the jade slips. Therefore, generally the truly advanced things are recorded in the jade slips, and the things that are qualified to be recorded in the jade slips are said to be of the lowest level, the 7th grade martial arts level. Except for the vitality stone and 2 jade slips, there are no weapons, elixirs, formation treasures, etc. in this storage ring. Luo Xiu could already release his soul perception, so he took out the 2 jade slips, attached his perception to them, and the information recorded in the jade slips poured into his mind. One of the jade slips records formations, the highest level of which has reached the level of a 6th level formation master. It can be seen from this that the dead Su Jinyan was not only a strong martial lord, but also a formation master who had reached the 6th level. Another jade slip records a 7th level martial arts, Netherworld Xian Luo Gong. There are also martial arts and body techniques that match the Netherworld Xian Luo Gong. Luo Xiu had heard that a martial arts that has a complete set of exercises, martial arts, and body skills is considered a complete martial arts. As for the martial arts that separate martial arts, body skills, and kung fu, similar to those of Wujian and Xiaoyao sect, they are not considered complete martial arts. Luo Xiu's Wheel of Life and Death is a complete martial arts, but whether it is exercises, martial arts, or body skills, he needs to understand them from the 9 original law diagrams. After putting these things away, Luo Xiu searched carefully again and found no other valuable treasures before walking out of the cave. The Yin stone has been put away by him, so there is no cold air spreading out. Seeing Luo Xiu walking out of the cave, Lu Mengyao didn't know what happened to him inside, but if Luo Xiu didn't tell him, she couldn't take the initiative to ask. According to the records in the jade slips, this valley is shrouded in a 6th-level trap set up by Su Jinyan. The entrance to the valley is the gate of the formation, which can only be entered but not exited. There are only 2 ways to break this 6th-level trap formation. One is to break the formation with force, and the other is to find the location of the formation gate. However, if you want to forcefully break through the 6th-level trapping formation, you must at least have the level of martial arts cultivation. If we want to leave here, we must break the formation of this valley. After talking to Lu Mengyao, Luo Xiu began to study the jade slip that recorded the knowledge of formations. I have previously studied the basics of formations obtained from Zhang Haifei, and they have theoretically reached the level of a 3rd-level formation mage. Therefore, although the formation concepts recorded in this jade slip are relatively complicated and obscure, Luo Xiu will not ignore them. Understand, In the process of studying formations, the first diagram of the original laws of the Wheel of Life and Death will come to mind, and those strange patterns and runes seem to come alive, arranged and combined in various ways. Unconsciously, 10 days passed, and Luo Xiu slowly opened his eyes. In the past, he viewed the origin diagram as if he were reading a heavenly book, unable to understand the meaning of those runes. It wasn't until I got the foundation of the formation from Zhang Haifei's ring and verified each other through the formation method that I understood many things that I didn't understand before. From the shallower to the deeper, step by step, he finally understood a lot about the first source law diagram, and his formation attainments theoretically reached the level of a 5th level formation mage. The reason why it is said to be theoretical is because Luo Xiu's cultivation level is too low. Even if he is given the materials and formation flags, he cannot arrange a 5th level formation or refine a 5th level formation treasure, not to mention level 5, with his cultivation level, he can only arrange level 3 formations at most. However, with the current formation skills, it is no longer a problem to get out of this trapped formation. Chapter 75 Luo Pengcheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. We can go out. Luo Xiu stood up and said to Lu Mengyao beside him. He has been studying formations for the past 10 days, and Lu Mengyao has always been by his side. You still know the formation? Lu Mengyao looked surprised. As far as she knew, Luo Xiu had never been exposed to anything about formations when he entered the martial palace at the age of 10. As for Luo Xiu, he only started to come into contact with formations more than half a month ago and had already reached the level of a 5th level formation master. I couldn't believe it. Luo Xiu did not say that he was already at the level of a 5th level formation master. After all, this kind of thing was too unbelievable. If it were not for the fact that he could obtain enlightenment from the original law diagram of the wheels of life and death, he would not have been able to achieve this in such a short period of time. Reach this level, since he couldn't explain it, Luo Xiu simply didn't say much. It was related to his biggest secret, and Luo Xiu also knew very well that he couldn't tell other people casually about this kind of thing, even his closest relatives. I found the circuit diagram for the Guan Valley formation in the cave. Luo Xiu made up a random reason and said, "Follow me and don't make a wrong step." Seeing Lu Mengyao nodding, Luo Xiu began to walk, sometimes moving forward, sometimes retreating, and sometimes standing still or turning in circles. It was not until a long time passed that the scene in the valley suddenly changed. The originally lush scenery suddenly turned into a barren dead land, and the entrance and exit of the valley finally appeared. Seeing this scene, Lu Mengyao realized that the scene in the valley before was just an illusion caused by the formation. A barren dead land was the real scene of Guan Valley. Su Jingyun's soul has been annihilated and the Yin stone has been taken away by Luo Xiu. Apart from the 6th order trap formation that can only be entered but not exited, there is no danger in the Ghostin Valley. Since the Guan Valley in the Guanlei Mountains was discovered, many warriors have died. They are not as good as 5th level array mages. Once they enter the valley, they will be trapped inside. Although there are 5th level formation masters in Yunlong County and Dohai County, although they will not be trapped if they come here, it will definitely be difficult to resist the invasion of Yin Qi. Those who broke into Ghostin Valley before will probably be swallowed by Su Jingyun. He lost his soul to restore his broken soul. After being trapped in Guan Valley for more than 10 days, Luo Xiu probably almost avoided the pursuit of the Yan family in Xuanhuan City. However, he didn't dare to take Lu Mengyao to Xuanhuan City, and he didn't have the bone transformation pill to change his appearance. Once he went there and was recognized, it would be really troublesome. The only way is to bypass Xuanhuan City and go to other cities in Dohai County to find the location of Leiwu sect. The encounter in the Guan Valley and the reminder from the spirit of reincarnation made Luo Xiu very clear that his strength was still very weak. Once he encountered greater danger, he might not even be able to protect himself. Naturally, he could not always take Lu Mengyao with him. If Su Jingyun had chosen to seize Lu Mengyao instead of Luo Xiu, then she would probably have become a different person now. Therefore, the top priority is to send Lu Mengyao to Liwoman first. But before the two of them left the Guanlei Mountains, Luo Xiu sensed a powerful spiritual consciousness falling on him and Lu Mengyao, and then, a middle-aged man in purple appeared in front of them. In Luo Xiu's perception, the aura of this middle-aged man in purple is very powerful, at least he is a strong person from the god-refining martial sect or above. The middle-aged man in purple just glanced at Luo Xiu lightly, and then his eyes fell on Lu Mengyao. Although the two of them were wearing hats and veils, the other party had spiritual consciousness, so this disguise had no effect at all. "Are you the girl with the Leiwu token?" the middle-aged man in purple asked slowly. Hearing this, Luo Xiu was shocked. Could it be that this middle-aged man in purple was also here to snatch the Leiwu token? "Yes, senior." Lu Mengyao replied truthfully. The middle-aged man in purple nodded, and then looked at Luo Xiu. "You are very courageous. You dare to kill people from the Yen family who are only at the 6th level of Qihai. This courage is worthy of praise." Seeing the wary looks on Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao's faces, the middle-aged man in purple said calmly, "You don't have to worry that I will snatch the Leiwu token. I am Pengcheng, the protector of Leiwu's sect. I heard that I hold the Leiwu token. People appear here." Before Pengcheng finished speaking, Lu Mengyao exclaimed, "Are you Uncle Lu?" Lu Mengyao took off the veil from her face and said, "Uncle Lu, I am Mengyao." "Mengyao?" Pengcheng looked confused at first, and then seemed to remember something. His figure flashed and appeared in front of Lu Mengyao. "Are you brother Lu's daughter Mengyao? I heard something happened at Xiaoyumen. I wonder how brother Lu is doing now." "Father, he..." From the conversation between Lu Mengyao and Pengcheng, Luo Xiu knew that Lu Feichen had experienced together with Pengcheng when he was young and had a fatal friendship. The Leiwu token is an extremely important token of the Leiwu sect. Those who hold the Leiwu token can make a request to the Leiwu sect. Generally, as long as the request is not too excessive, the Leiwu sect will agree. Pengcheng seemed to have an unusual status in the Leiwu sect, and he gave Lu Feichen such a Leiwu token back then. Humph, the Yen family and the Duan family in Xingcheng city are really tired of living. They dare to steal the Leiwu token of my niece Pengcheng. I don't know whether to live or die. After listening to Lu Mengyao's story, Pengcheng felt a fierce murderous intent. It seemed that in his eyes, the two aristocratic families in Xingcheng were not worth mentioning at all. Although Luo Xiu couldn't see through Pengcheng's cultivation level, judging by his life aura, he was probably a martial arts grandmaster at the same level as Lu Feichen. "Since brother Lu has gone, you will follow Uncle Lu to practice hard in Liwamen and strive to one day avenge your father," Pengcheng said. "Thank you, Uncle Lu. I will work hard to practice and avenge my father." Lu Mengyao also said excitedly. Luo Xiu had never heard Lu Mengyao mention revenge before. Obviously she just buried this hatred in her heart. The person who could seriously injure Lu Feichen must be in the realm of King Wu. "Uncle Lu, this is Luo Xiu. He is very talented. He can kill even the masters of innate martial arts. If it weren't for him, Mengyao might not be able to see you, uncle." Lu Mengyao introduced Luo Xiu to Pengcheng, and told Luo Xiu about killing Go Xuanhuan and the two heroes of Matsuyama. Luo Xiu secretly thought that it was bad. He was a warrior at the 6th level of Qi Si who could kill an innate martial artist. Even a fool knew that he must have received an extraordinary opportunity. What's more, Pengcheng is a great martial arts master. With his shrewdness, he can naturally guess this as soon as he hears this. Sure enough, after hearing what Lu Mengyao said, Pengcheng looked at Luo Xiu, a light flashed in his eyes, and said with a smile, "With such a talent, you can go to Leiwu's sect with me, as long as you practice hard and become a core disciple, no problem." Lu Mengyao had little experience and lacked scheming, but Luo Xiu saw something unusual in Pengcheng's tone and eyes. Luo Xiu immediately cupped his hands and said, "Junior is used to being undisciplined. He doesn't like the constraints of the sect. I hope Senior will forgive me." He had said this very tactfully, indicating that he did not want to go to Liwamen with him. If he said this and Pengcheng still insisted on taking him away, it must have ulterior motives. However, what Luo Xiu said seemed smart, but in fact he was still a little naive. The more he didn't want to join the Leiwu sect, the more Pengcheng thought he had a secret. The reason why he didn't want to join the sect was because he was worried about exposing himself. Secret. If you don't want to join the Leiwu sect, I won't force you to do so. You protected Mengyao's niece all the way to Dohai County. I, Lu, should also thank you properly. I will give you this little gadget. As he spoke, Luo Pengcheng took out a Jade talisman. This is a 4th level formation Jade talisman. Once activated, it can unleash an attack comparable to that of the God-refining martial sect. Such a Jade talisman was priceless, and any Qihai warrior would be tempted. Luo Xiu was suspicious, and pretended to be excited, and took it after thanking him. Luo Pengcheng smiled and nodded. Come back to the city with me now. As long as I am here, the Yan family and the Duan family will not dare to touch you. On their way back, Luo Pengcheng always asked Lu Mengyao about Luo Xiu, intentionally or unintentionally, because Luo Pengcheng and his father were close friends of life and death. Lu Mengyao didn't have the slightest bit of defensiveness and told everything she knew. In less than a year, he has reached the 6th level of Qi Si from the 2nd level of body refining, and has the strength comparable to the 4th level innate martial artist. Luo Xiu was secretly anxious and regretted that he had forgotten to tell Lu Mengyao not to tell others about him. Niece Mengyao, has your Huiyang Absolute Meridian recovered? Luo Pengcheng and Lu Feichen were close friends, so they naturally knew about Lu Mengyao's previous Huiyang Absolute Meridian disease. Yes, and thanks to Luo Xiu, he helped me cure the Huiyang Jueme. Lu Mengyao responded with a smile, unaware that the more she said, the more dangerous Luo Xiu became. The reason why she told Luo Pengcheng about Luo Xiu's deeds was because she hoped that Luo Xiu could get the attention of Leiwu's sect, but Luo Xiu didn't seem to want to join Leiwu's sect, which made her feel a little sad. She knew very well that it would be difficult for a warrior to achieve anything without the support of the sect. If she wanted to avenge her father Lu Feichen in the future, she could only choose to join the Leiwu sect. She also knew that if she separated from Luo Xiu this time, the two of them might really go their separate ways. Undoubtedly, this is another choice. The last time she chose to leave Luo Xiu and marry Go Xingcheng for her father, if not for sudden changes, all this would have become a fact, and this time, she had to choose to separate from Luo Xiu again in order to join the Leiwu sect. Half a day later, the three of them arrived at Xuanhuan city. Before entering the city, both the Yan family and the Duan family received the news, but neither came forward. Obviously, they also knew the origin of Luo Pengcheng's identity. The Yanqiu you killed was the only son of the head of the Yan family, but as long as you become a disciple of the Leiwu sect, the Yan family will not dare to touch you. Luo Pengcheng said with a smile. Luo Xiu heard the implication, but he didn't want to join the Leiwu sect, so he pretended not to understand what the other party meant. Luo Xiu, you should go to Leiwu sect with me. It will be difficult for you to practice alone without the support of the sect. Lu Mengyao advised. No, I plan to practice everywhere. Luo Xiu said with a smile. He knew very well that Luo Pengcheng did not take action now because Lu Mengyao was here. Of course, he did not know what secrets he had on his body. If he knew that Luo Xiu had a treasure like the life and death pearl, even if Lu Mengyao was here, I will definitely take action. If he follows him to the Leiwu sect, he will really be trapped in the tiger's mouth. Many secrets and treasures will have to be vomited out, and he may not be able to save his life. In this world, there are good people and bad people. For example, Lord Qingyun, Elder Zhuang, and Yi Xiangdo are good people. As for Luo Pengcheng, Luo Xiu intuitively felt that he was not a good person. Maybe he was very kind to Lu Mengyao because he and Lu Feichen were life and death friends, but he, Luo Xiu, was an outsider. Chapter 76 Preparations before breaking through the innate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Pengcheng took Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao to the Li Woman's headquarters. When passing the Hunters Guild, Luo Xiu's heart moved. Junior suddenly remembered that I have to go to the Hunters Guild to do something. Senior and Mengyao will go to the Li Woman headquarters first. Junior will visit later. Luo Xiu said so. Is there anything important that can't wait until later? Luo Pengcheng frowned. Yes, Luo Xiu, I didn't hear you say you have something to do at the Hunters Guild. Lu Mengyao also looked at Luo Xiu strangely. As soon as she said this, a sharp light flashed in Luo Pengcheng's eyes, and he was more and more certain that this young man named Luo Xiu must have a secret. He was unwilling to join the Li Woman from the beginning, and he was going to the Hunters Guild at this moment. It was probably to escape. According to what he learned from Lu Mengyao, this Luo Xiu should have a big secret. Maybe it is the inheritance of a martial arts master, or some kind of treasure that can assist in cultivation. Otherwise, it is impossible to explain that his cultivation strength has improved so quickly, which is almost beyond common sense. The 6th-level Qi high at the age of 14 may not be too amazing, but it is a bit against the sky to reach the 6th-level Qi high from the 2nd level of body training in less than a year. Pengcheng almost couldn't help but take down Luo Xiu directly, but he could see that this niece Mengyao had a special feeling for that boy. If he took action, how would this niece look at him? In a way, Pengcheng is also a man of affection and righteousness. Although Lu Feichen is dead, the friendship of life and death still makes him treat Lu Mengyao as a relative, and treat him sincerely. Since you have something to do, go and do it first. Pengcheng said with a smile. For him, as long as a small Qi High warrior is still in this Do Hai county, he can't escape from his palm. Seeing that Pengcheng did not take action, Luo Xiu felt a little relieved. He thanked him and walked towards the Hunter Guild. After entering the main gate, there is another passage in the corner of the Hunter Guild hall. Only internal members of the guild can enter with the Hunter badge. Hello, Mr. Luo. After entering the internal passage, a woman with good looks came forward and saluted Luo Xiu respectfully. I need to check some information. Luo Xiu said directly. Mr. Luo, please follow me. Under the guidance of this woman, Luo Xiu came to a room. There were rows of bookshelves on the walls on all 4 sides, and there were many books on them. In the center of the room, there was a table with a middle-aged man in a gray robe sitting there. Luo Xiu took out his hunter badge and handed it over. The gray-robed man used the array device to read the personal information in the badge. You are a genius member of the lower yellow level of the guild. You can check the information for free within the permission. What do you want to know? The gray-robed man asked with a smile, and his attitude was very kind. The internal members of the Hunter Guild are divided into genius members and external members. Among them, the status of genius members is higher than that of external members. Those who serve in the guild are generally external members, and most of them provide basic services to genius members. At Luo Xiu's request, the gray-robed man brought some information. Luo Xiu first checked the information about the Leiwu token and found that, as Pengcheng said, the person holding the Leiwu token can make a request to the Leiwu sect. With the Leiwu token, Lu Mengyao can not only become the core disciple of the Leiwu sect, but also be taken care of and cultivated with her talent. And from Pengcheng's attitude towards Lu Mengyao, she is also very sincere. She should be the best choice to join the Leiwu sect. Then Luo Xiu took out the materials he got from hunting monsters in Guanlei Mountains and sold them to the guild in exchange for some vitality stones, including the materials of the green-winged monster snake. As for the materials of the 2-headed Tongyu tiger, Luo Xiu never took them out. After all, it was a level 5 monster comparable to the Martial King. It would be too ostentatious for him, a small Qihai warrior, to sell it. For Luo Xiu now, he has no shortage of resources for cultivation, so there is no need to take risks to attract attention. If one day he reaches the peak of martial arts and looks down on all the mountains, then even if he has a huge secret, no one dares to covet it. There are 3 major forces in Dohai County, namely Leiwu sect, Gongsun family, and Yongchang Pavilion. Among these 3 major forces, Leiwu sect ranks first, with a strong man of the 7th level of Martial King sitting in charge. Tianwu Kingdom has 13 counties. Each county has a sect, called the 13 sects of Tianwu. Xiaoyao sect ranks 11th, and Leiwu sect ranks 7th. Pengcheng is a martial arts grandmaster of the 9th level of the soul, serving as a guardian in Leiwu sect, but he also has another identity, that is, the biological son of an elder of Leiwu sect. In the Leiwu sect station, the heads of the 3 major families in Xingcheng city all came to visit. In a separate room, Pengcheng met the head of the Yan family. Master Yan, do you know why I want to see you alone? Pengcheng looked at the master of the Yan family with a half-smile. My lord. The master of the Yan family looked terrified. No one knew his son better than him as a father. Yan Qiu had been doing evil things for a long time by relying on the power of the Yan family in Xingcheng city, especially recently. in order to practice the yin-collecting skill, he had harmed countless women, it's just that he didn't expect that his son would get into trouble after all. Not only did the woman he wanted to rob hold the Leiwu token, but his son also led someone to steal the other party's Leiwu token, and he lost his life because of it. Meng Yao is my niece. Fortunately, she was not harmed. Besides, since your son Yanxiu is dead, I will not pursue the case any further. Thank you, sir. The head of the Yan family quickly knelt down and expressed his gratitude. Pengcheng nodded, I will give you a task now. The young man who is with my niece, named Luo Xiu, is currently in the Hunter Guild. I want you to send someone to keep an eye on the Hunter Guild. Notify me immediately as soon as this person appears. If you can't even do this little thing, there will be no need for your Yan family to continue to exist. Yes, sir, Yan will definitely handle this matter well. The head of the Yan family said quickly. In the Hunters Guild, Luo Xiu asked for a secret room for seclusion and training. He knew very well that his cultivation strength was too weak, so he planned to take this opportunity to use the resources at his disposal to enhance his strength. A formation is arranged in a secret room of seclusion to isolate the detection of spiritual consciousness and the leakage of breath. And it also serves as a warning. Under normal circumstances, there won't be any safety issues in the Hunters Guild retreat. The practice of a warrior usually involves breathing in and absorbing the vitality of the world. The richer the vitality, the better the effect of training. In addition, you can also use pills and treasures to assist in improving your cultivation. Luo Xiu has a 5th-level spirit-gathering formation device in his hand. Inserting a middle-grade vitality stone into it can increase the speed of cultivation by nearly 10 times. Take out all the tens of thousands of low-grade vitality stones and medium-grade vitality stones from the storage ring and pile them aside. Under the action of the spirit-gathering formation, the vitality in the vitality stones swarms out and gathers around Luo Xiu, cultivating in such majestic and rich vitality. Luo Xiu's cultivation level improved rapidly, and he was soon promoted from the 6th level of Qi Si to the 7th level of Qi Si. Immediately afterwards, he reached the middle stage of the 7th level of Qi Si, the late stage, the peak, and broke through to the 8th level of Qi Si. There was no sun or moon in cultivation, and half a month passed in a blink of an eye. When Luo Xiu opened his eyes, he saw that tens of thousands of vitality stones had all turned into white powder. Feeling the powerful power surging in his body, Luo Xiu took a deep breath and reached the 9th level of Qi Si. The power of the 2 poles of life and death circulates around the body. Luo Xiu can feel how powerful he is at this moment, and with the improvement of his cultivation, he has various insights into the first picture of the origin of the wheel of life and death, which is like an enlightenment. The law diagram is finally a complete understanding. This picture of the original law includes skills, martial arts, and formations. The skill is the wheel of life and death, which condenses the true qi of the 2 extremes of life and death. It is much more powerful than the true qi cultivated by ordinary warriors. Even the innate true qi cultivated by many innate martial arts masters cannot compare with the true qi of the 2 extremes of life and death. The martial skill is the seal of life and death. This martial skill does not have a specific grade. The higher the cultivation level, the stronger the power to activate this seal. Moreover, this seal has a lot of room for growth. 7th grade martial arts, and compared to that, it's not worth mentioning at all. Although his cultivation level has been promoted to the 9th level of Qi Si, Luo Xiu's mood cannot be lifted because he has consumed too many vitality stones in his cultivation. Tens of thousands of vitality stones, almost equal to the wealth of a powerful martial king, were exhausted by him, and he had not even reached the innate realm. The reason for this is that the level of Jinqi in the 2 extremes of life and death is higher, and the process of condensation also requires more energy. At the same time, this also means that if Luo Xiu wants to break through the innate realm, he will definitely need to consume more vitality. It is almost difficult to break through just by relying on the vitality stone. The yin qi contained in the yin stone is higher in level than the ordinary vitality of heaven and earth. However, Luo Xiu does not plan to use the yin stone to assist in breakthrough now, because if he cannot break through to the innate realm, it will be hard to achieve. The yin stone is wasted. Moreover, his cultivation had just broken through from the 6th level of Qi Si to the 9th level of Qi Si, and it would take some time to stabilize. In addition, before hitting the innate realm, Luo Xiu also needs to make some more preparations to ensure nothing goes wrong, for fire yang fruits were obtained in the Guanlei Mountains. If the Jintian pill can be refined, with the power of the Jintian pill and the assistance of the Yin stone, the success rate of the breakthrough will be greater. According to Luo Xiu's knowledge, many warriors at the peak level of Qi Si 9th level have to attack the innate several times. Only those geniuses with peerless qualifications can easily break through. Luo Xiu knew very well that his qualifications were not good, otherwise he would not have only practiced to the 2nd level of body refining from the age of 10 to 13, without the life and death pearl. Perhaps he would have been eliminated by the Qingyun martial palace, and then returned to the small Pancher town with his father, and ended up doing nothing for 100 years like most ordinary people, walking out of the secret room in seclusion. Luo Xiu took out 2 4th-level array treasures, exchanged them for 20,000 low-grade vitality stones in the guild, and then used another 2,000 vitality stones to exchange for a bottle of bone-changing elixir. The bone-transforming pill is a 3rd-grade elixir that can change one's appearance after taking it. Unless someone from the Lianshan Wuzong detects it with their spiritual sense, they will not be recognized. When Luo Xiu broke into Ziyuemen, he relied on the effect of the bone transformation pill. As a low-level genius member of Luo Xiuhuang's class, he also has the permission to exchange for other 3rd-grade elixirs, including the Jintian Dan, which is necessary to break through the innate realm. Qi Si breakthrough innate. No matter how good the talent is, if there is no Jintian pill, the chance of a successful breakthrough is very slim. I don't know how many warriors of the 9th level of Qi Si are running around life and death for a Jintian pill. If Luo Xiu bought the Jintian pill from the Hunters Guild, it would cost 10,000 yuan for a low-grade vitality stone. As far as he knew, the normal price of Jintian Dan in the market was around 15,000 yuan for a low-grade vitality stone. Jintian pill can also be exchanged for fire yang fruit, and 1 fire yang fruit can be exchanged for 1 Jintian pill. Originally, Luo Xiu planned to find other elixirs for refining Jintian Dan, and then go to the Alchemist Guild to find a 3rd-level alchemist to refine Jintian Dan. Since it could be exchanged within the Hunter Guild, Luo Xiu simply used the 3 fire suns. If you take it out, you can directly exchange it for the ready-made Jintian pill. With 4 Jintian pills and a Yin stone containing Yin Qi, Luo Xiu estimated that it should be almost enough for him to break through to the innate realm. Chapter 77 Crescent Jade Pendant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After taking a bone transformation pill, Luo Xiu walked out of the Hunters Guild. He found several warriors wandering in front of the gate of the Hunters Guild. Without thinking, he knew that they must be people sent by Luo Pengcheng to monitor them. However, as long as Luo Pengcheng is not here, ordinary Qihai warriors and innate warriors will not be able to see through the disguise of the bone transformation pill. Luo Xiu first made inquiries in the city and learned that during the period when he was in seclusion at the Hunters Guild, Lu Mengyao had left Xuexing City and headed to Leiwu Gate in Dohai County. He has not appeared during this period, and it is not clear whether Luo Pengcheng also left with him, but Luo Xiu felt that if Luo Pengcheng was really interested in his secrets, he would definitely not leave. Luo Xiu even felt that the news of Lu Mengyao's departure was deliberately released by Luo Pengcheng. The purpose was to make him think that Luo Pengcheng had also left, so that he would think he was safe, but Luo Pengcheng actually did not leave. Ask him to take the initiative to show up. People in this world are dangerous, so just in case, Luo Xiu took the bone transformation pill before he dared to come out of the Hunters Guild. In the next month, Luo Xiu practiced in the Guanlei Mountains. With the help of his ability to sense life, he hunted down level 3 monsters everywhere, and through the fights with monsters, he sharpened his cultivation and martial arts. The rapid improvement of his cultivation level made Luo Xiu full of confidence, and he tried to find a level 4 monster to see how big the gap was between himself and the god-refining martial sect. Almost as soon as they met, he was no match for him. If Shifang Remnant's shadow movement hadn't been fast enough, he might have been buried in the beast's mouth. Luo Xiu estimated that his strength was probably comparable to the 7th level of innate strength. If he could break through to the innate realm, he could almost compete with the 9th level of innate strength, or even half-step god refining. In this month, Luo Xiu killed more than 100 3rd-level monsters. Sometimes he would be injured when he encountered the top 3-level monsters, and even almost died several times. Roar! A black bear with scarlet eyes stood up, roared with its mouth open, and its teeth were ferocious. Not far from the black bear, Luo Xiu stepped out from the shadow of the trees. The black clothes on his body were damaged in many places, but his eyes were full of energy and brilliance. This black bear is a 3rd-level monster, and its strength is probably equivalent to the 5th-level innate. Perhaps it feels the terrifying aura of the human in front of it. It seems to be roaring fiercely, but its huge body is constantly retreating backwards. Monsters have an instinctive intuition for danger. From the murderous aura permeating this human's body, it can feel that countless monsters that are not weaker than itself have died in the hands of this human. Martial arts practice cannot be separated from resources. Hunting monsters can not only sharpen one's strength, but also sell the materials on the monsters and exchange them for vitality stones. Therefore, Luo Xiu killed many 3rd-level monsters during this period. The various 3rd-level materials accumulated in the storage ring are probably worth thousands of low-grade vitality stones. Just when Luo Xiu was about to kill the 3rd-level black bear, a burst of rapid footsteps suddenly came, and then a young man with blood on his body staggered out of the bushes and fell to the ground. Luo Xiu looked closely and found that the life breath in this young man was very weak, and his life veins were almost broken. In this situation, unless there is a magical elixir that defies heaven, there is no way to save him and he will definitely die. When Luo Xiu's attention was attracted by the sudden appearance of the young man, the level 3 black bear turned around and ran away as if he had been granted amnesty. Luo Xiu did not chase the escaped black bear, but walked towards the injured young man. He has killed quite a few people, but Luo Xiu is not a cold-blooded person. This is a world where the weak eat the strong, and life dies almost every moment. For Luo Xiu, who possesses the life and death pearl and practices to understand the mysteries of the law of life and death, as his cultivation level becomes higher and higher, he understands more and more truths. More. This friend, please help me. The young man covered in blood saw Luo Xiu coming and said weakly, perhaps because the other party was already a mortal person. Luo Xiu was not on guard. I am from the Gongsun family. I was seriously injured after being plotted against. I have a token here. I hope my friends can help me deliver it to the Gongsun family. While speaking weakly, the young man took out a crescent-shaped jade pendant from his arms with trembling hands. If there is a chance, I will send it to you. Luo Xiu nodded and reached out to pick up the jade pendant, but just when Luo Xiu's fingers touched the jade pendant, the young man's eyes flashed sharply, and a sharp dagger appeared in his hand, stabbing Luo Xiu in the heart. Puff! A burst of blood splattered. Although Luo Xiu reacted quickly, he calculated it mentally but not accidentally. The opponent's dagger made a wound on his chest, and blood spurted out instantly. Luo Xiu's face suddenly turned cold. If he hadn't dodged quickly, the opponent's dagger would have pierced his heart. The young man seemed not to have expected Luo Xiu's reaction to be so fast. In the moment of shock, Luo Xiu's fist had already struck him. Etc. Just as the young man was about to speak, he was hit in the head by Luo Xiu's punch. He was already dying. He received another punch from Luo Xiu and died on the spot. Luo Xiu's eyes were cold, and his heart was even colder. Just because he had a kind heart, he almost lost his life because of it. The sinister nature of the human heart is terrifying, but what Luo Xiu didn't understand was that this young man himself was destined to die. He was here to help him, so why did he want to kill him? Luo Xiu took off the young man's storage ring and the crescent-shaped jade pendant, then turned and left without even looking at the corpse. There is a token in the storage ring with the word Gongsun written on it. The young man's identity must indeed be from the Gongsun family. In addition, there are some vitality stones and elixirs, but the crescent-shaped jade pendant is a bit strange, and it cannot be received into the storage ring. This was the first time that Luo Xiu found something that could not be stored in the storage ring. He thought that this jade pendant was taken out by the young man from his arms and should be carried close to his body. It was not an ordinary object. Luo Xiu studied it for a long time, but finally couldn't figure out what this jade pendant was used for. After taking a bone-changing pill, Luo Xiu returned to Xingcheng City. First, he sold all the materials on the 3rd-level monsters at the Hunters Guild, and then Luo Xiu asked for a secret room to prepare for the attack on the innate realm. In a month, his cultivation level has basically stabilized. With sufficient preparations, breaking through Xingcheng at this moment is the best choice. In the secret room, Luo Xiu planned to keep the thousands of vitality stones and hundreds of high-grade vitality stones on hand because the vitality stones had basically been consumed. This retreat's impact on the innate realm was mainly assisted by the Jin Tian Dan and Yin stone. Luo Xiu took out the Yin stone from the storage ring and held it in the palm of his hand. Then Luo Xiu took out a Jingtian pill and drank it. After the pill dissolved, the majestic power of the medicine spread out in the body instantly. At the same time, he was running the wheel of life and death, and the Yin Qi in the Yin stone was continuously absorbed and condensed into the true energy of life and death. The true energy gathers in the Dantian and revolves around the wheels of life and death, forming a vortex. There are 2 steps to break through the innate Qi. The first step is to condense the true Qi into a vortex, also called a cyclone. The second step is to refine the power of attributes to form innate true energy. Luo Xiu's true energy itself contains the attributes of life and death, so the moment the cyclone condenses, he has basically been promoted successfully. It's just that the newly formed cyclone is very unstable and needs enough vitality to stabilize it. Otherwise, once the cyclone collapses, the breakthrough will fail. It didn't take long for Luo Xiu to take all 4 Jingtian pills, and the black Yin stone became darker and darker, turning from black to gray, and then to white. After the Yin stone also shattered into powder, the vortex condensed and Luo Xiu's Dantian finally stabilized completely. In the space inside the Dantian, the black and white polar energy of life and death forms a vortex, like a star in the galaxy. In the center of this huge star, the wheels of life and death rotate slowly, like an eternal star, existing from ancient times. After breaking through the Xiantian, Luo Xiu's first feeling was that his 6 senses were sharper. It seemed that not even the slightest movement in a radius of 2 or 3 miles could escape his perception. Previously, Luo Xiu already had the ability to perceive the soul before his cultivation reached the innate level. As his cultivation level reached the innate level, this perception ability became stronger and the range was larger, coupled with the ability to sense life. Unless he is a person with top concealment methods, anyone who comes within 2 or 3 miles of him can be clearly sensed by him. In addition to the enhancement of the soul's perception ability, Luo Xiu stretched out his palms, and the true energy of life and death condensed in his palms, forming a wave of energy that seemed to be substantial, condensing qi into a gang and sensing the soul. These 2 abilities are what makes an innate martial artist truly more powerful than a qi high warrior. Now that I have reached the innate realm, I should be able to get the gift of the original law again, right? Luo Xiu couldn't help but feel a little eager. The last gift from the law of origin allowed him to obtain the quick sword technique. With a quick sword in one hand, he can easily leapfrog the enemy and kill the enemy. His sword skills have reached the level of great achievement. In addition, with his current level of cultivation at the first level of Xiantian, he can be called a rare person under the Lianshan martial sect. Encounter an enemy. The spirit of reincarnation once said that the gifts given by the original law would tend to assist in improving the successor's strength, which made Luo Xiu look forward to it. The soul-sensing life and death bead came with a hint of throbbing. Luo Xiu's figure disappeared in an instant. In the secret room, there was only a bead emitting black and white light suspended in the air. Looking up at the ancient and eternal reincarnation, Luo Xiu would be filled with emotion from the bottom of his heart every time he saw it. I don't know what level of cultivation I have reached before I can master the origin of the law of life and death and control reincarnation. Weak successor, you have broken through to the innate realm and can once again receive the gift of the original law. The voice of the spirit of reincarnation sounded, and then a beam of light flew out, and a ball of light floated in front of Luo Xiu. This ball of light is a gift from the original law. What it is exactly is not yet known. Chapter 78 Guan Lei Temple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Xiu reached out and caught the light in front of him, and a burst of information suddenly emerged in his mind. Xiantian Bian, a top-notch secret technique, can explode 2 to 5 times the power of one's own body in an instant after mastering it. A unique skill. Luo Xiu digested the information he had received from the gift of the origin law. In addition to Xuantianbian's cultivation method, it also mentioned that it was a unique skill above the 9th level martial arts. And Xuanhuan is a unique skill that surpasses the 9th grade martial arts. It is not a kung fu method, nor a martial arts technique, but a secret technique. This secret technique is undoubtedly powerful. If your strength suddenly increases 5 times when fighting someone, then an opponent who is originally on par with you may be caught off guard and be killed in an instant. If I can practice Xiantian transformation, who else in the same realm can be my opponent? Luo Xiu smiled confidently. The same realm, he said, was not a small realm, but a whole big realm. For example, from the 1st level of innate to the 9th level, this is a big realm. His strength was enough to challenge him beyond the next level. Now coupled with Xiantian Bian, the unique secret technique, if he faced Zhang Luoyang who was at the 9th level of Xiantian, Luo Xiu would be absolutely sure that he could kill him. Even masters at the master level of Qingyun Hall who are half-stepping into God refining may not be able to withstand Xuantian's sudden and terrifying power. When Luo Xiu opened his eyes, he found that he had exited the life and death pearl and returned to the secret room outside. In the next time, Luo Xiu is going to master the secret art of practicing Xiantian transformation. After mastering it, it will be time for him to return to Yunlong County. He will not forget that Zhang Luoyang, the ancestor of the Zhang family, tried to put him to death several times. In the past, it was because of his lack of strength. Now that he has broken through to the innate realm and obtained the secret skills of Xuanhuan, this enemy, there is no reason not to report it. Moreover, he is also worried about the safety of his parents and sister. Although he has the protection of the Hunters Guild, no one dares to touch his relatives, but there may not be other dirty tricks. In order to avoid future troubles, the most correct way is to eliminate the root causes. In the major cities of Tianwu Kingdom, the 4 major guilds have deployed teleportation arrays. Because teleportation arrays are extremely expensive and require at least a 5th level formation master to deploy them, most forces do not have the ability to deploy teleportation arrays. Only those who control the teleportation array can be called a truly powerful force. The farther the teleportation distance, the greater the maintenance and loss of the formation, so the cost of using the teleportation formations of the 4 major guilds is relatively high. For example, when Luo Xiu was in Yunlong County, he needed 200 low-grade vitality stones to teleport from the county town to Qingyun City, and if you want to teleport from Xuexing City in Dohai County to the city in Yunlong County, it will cost at least 200 mid-grade yuan stones, which is 100 times more expensive. This is a price that even the God-refining martial sect would not be willing to part with, and a strong martial king would be heartbroken if they took it out just to rush on their way. Even though Luo Xiu is an internal genius member of the Hunter Guild, the guild's resources will not be provided for free. To teleport from Xuexing City to Qingyun City in Yunlong County, he needs 300 mid-grade vitality stones. In the past, the middle-grade and low-grade vitality stones were almost exhausted by improving cultivation. Later, I gained some by hunting monsters, but there were only less than 10,000 low-grade vitality stones. 300 middle-grade vitality stones are equivalent to 30,000 low-grade vitality stones. Although Luo Xiu still has hundreds of high-grade vitality stones in his hand, he got them from the storage ring of Su Jingyun, the martial lord in Ghostine Valley. The higher the grade of the vitality stone, the purer the vitality contained in it and the more suitable it is for cultivation. For example, if an innate martial artist uses a low-grade vitality stone to practice, the effect will be minimal. The higher the cultivation level, the more higher-level training resources are needed. Su Jingyun was a warrior-level warrior during his lifetime, and the storage ring contained only a few hundred high-grade vitality stones, which shows how precious it is. It would be too ostentatious to use a high-grade vitality stone to ride on the teleportation array. I am afraid that people within the Hunter Guild may be greedy. After all, not everyone is so upright. Luo Xiu knew very well that his strength was still too weak, and he had to consider all aspects of gain and loss when doing things. After thinking about this, Luo Xiu planned to cross the Guanlei Mountains again. As long as he returned to Yunlong County and took the teleportation array, the price would not be so high. Half a month later, Luo Xiu took a bone transformation pill and changed his appearance, and walked out of the Hunters Guild. In the past half-month, Luo Xiu has initially mastered Xiantian transformation, which can double his strength in an instant. A secret technique like this naturally cannot be without any restrictions. For example, with the Shen-Tian transformation, each activation will put a huge load on the body of the warrior. If the activation is performed frequently, it will injure oneself. In theory, the Shen-Tian transformation can increase the strength by 5 times at its maximum, but the more the strength is increased, the greater the load on the body will be. Yongchang Pavilion organizes an exploration of Guanlei Temple. There are only 6 people left in the team. Innate cultivation is required. As soon as Luo Xiu came out of the Hunters Guild, he saw a burly man shouting loudly in front of the guild's gate. Guanlei Temple. I'm going. I am an innate 3rd level of cultivation, I want to sign up. There was an uproar in front of the gate of the Hunters Guild, and many innate masters crowded forward. The 3 major forces rarely recruit outsiders to explore Guanlei Temple. Yes, I heard that Guanlei Temple is very dangerous, but there are many treasures. It is said that there are also strong men in the realm of King of Martial Arts who go there to comprehend the sword intent. Follow the team of Yongchang Pavilion, and get some good things in Guanlei Temple. It is definitely more valuable than hunting several level 2 monsters. The scene of Yongchang Pavilion recruiting people was very lively. As long as you know the Guanlei Mountains, no one does not know Guanlei Temple. Guanlei Temple is located in the central area of Guanlei Mountains. On the simple map obtained by Luo Xiu, it is marked as dark purple. Guiying Valley is marked as a red area, indicating that this is a dangerous area, and Guanlei Temple is marked as a dark purple area, indicating danger. It is said that the origin of Guanlei Mountains is that there was a strong man named Guanlei who once practiced in the mountains. Guanlei Temple is the place where that strong man practiced. There may be dangers at any time near Guanlei Temple, but there are also many opportunities and treasures. Guanlei is a strong man who uses a knife. It is said that he has a very high level of attainment in knife skills. Many martial arts masters who practice knife skills will come here to find some traces left by Guanlei and comprehend the mystery of knife skills. Luo Xiu now has a good understanding of martial arts practice. In addition to the division of cultivation, the division of realm is from law to Tao, whether it is fist, palm, sword, knife, etc., they are all in the category of law, divided into 4 levels: initial, minor, major, and perfect. For example, Luo Xiu's fast sword practice is equivalent to the great success of sword skills. If you can surpass the perfect realm of sword skills, you will enter Tao from law, jump out of the scope of sword skills, and reach the level of swordsmanship. As far as Luo Xiu knows, the first realm of entering Tao is martial arts, such as fist, sword, knife, etc. Originally, according to Luo Xiu's initial idea, he planned to wait until his fast sword practice reached the perfect realm, and then go to the vicinity of Guanlei Temple to comprehend the knife, so as to try to comprehend his own sword. However, this time when crossing the Guanlei Mountains, he also wanted to go to Guanlei Temple to take a look. Since someone happened to organize a team to go together, it was a good opportunity. Get out of the way, I want to sign up. An angry shout rang out in the crowd. Because there were too many people who wanted to sign up, some people couldn't squeeze through and suddenly became impatient. A strong wind blew from behind his head, and a middle-aged man reached out to grab the back of his collar. Before the other party grabbed the back of his collar, Luo Xiu suddenly turned around, stretched out his right hand like lightning, and pinched the middle-aged man's wrist. "Stinky boy, if you don't sign up, get out of the way." The middle-aged man snorted coldly, and his innate true energy circulated. With a flick of his wrist, he was about to shake Luo Xiu's hand away. However, his true energy was like a drop in the ocean, and Luo Xiu's hand clamped the other's wrist like an iron clamp, not moving at all. "Who said I don't sign up?" Luo Xiu snorted coldly, raised his hand and swung it, and the middle-aged man immediately became unstable, staggered back a few steps, and knocked back everyone behind him. "Why are you doing this? Everyone wants to sign up, not just you." Several people who were bumped by the middle-aged man immediately looked unfriendly. The middle-aged man also shouted and said sternly, "You kid is so arrogant because you have some ability, don't you see if everyone agrees or not?" It was obviously the middle-aged man who started the fight first, but Luo Xiu became the target of public criticism. "Everyone come together and throw this kid out first." The middle-aged man continued to shout. Several people surrounded him, and they seemed to be about to fight, and some people next to him also had an attitude of watching the show. Luo Xiu's eyes flashed coldly, and he reached out to grab the hilt behind him. Clang! That the sound of the sword being unsheathed resounded in the crowd, crisp and loud, echoing in everyone's ears. Many people only saw a flash of black light, and the next moment Luo Xiu's shadow sword had been returned to the sheath. The middle-aged man who caused trouble first stood there like a wooden chicken, and a few eyelashes fell down. You! The middle-aged man's lips trembled a little, and he was really scared. He knew very well that if the other party wanted to kill him, he would have died with the sword just now. What a fast sword! The people nearby looked at Luo Xiu again with a trace of awe and fear. A guy with such strength should not be offended easily. The guys who originally clamored to teach Luo Xiu a lesson also stopped, swallowed their saliva secretly, and stepped back a few steps timidly. This is the law of survival among warriors. Strength is respected. Huh, what a handsome sword. There are 3 places left. Do you want to come, little brother? That the burly man who was responsible for recruiting people from Xingcheng Pavilion also noticed the movement here, and couldn't help but exclaimed, and smiled at Luo Xiu. It's better to obey than to be respectful. Luo Xiu also smiled and nodded. The crowd took the initiative to make way for a passage, and Luo Xiu stepped over. In the envious eyes of others, he stood with the other 3 people who had been selected. There are 2 spots left. Those with higher cultivation bases will be given priority. The burly man continued to shout. Not long after, 2 more people were selected. Among the 6 spots, Luo Xiu found that except for himself, the lowest cultivation base of the other 5 people was the 5th level of innateness, and the highest cultivation base, a man in green, was the 7th level of innateness. Please follow me. After selecting the people, the burly man spoke to Luo Xiu and others. I see that the little brother is very young, about 20 years old. I wonder what his cultivation base is. The burly man asked Luo Xiu. Even though he took the bone transformation pill, it could only change his appearance and bones, so Luo Xiu still looked very young. Innate level 1. Luo Xiu did not hide his cultivation level. Innate first level. The burly man looked startled, and the other 5 people next to him also had strange expressions. They all saw the scene where Luo Xiu drew his sword before. It was difficult to avoid even the 5th innate level. Doesn't this mean that this guy with the 1st innate level has the strength to rival the 5th innate level? If they knew that the sword was not at Luo Xiu's true level, and that Luo Xiu's age was not 20, but 14, I don't know what these people would think. Chapter 79, Purple-Scaled Golden Mane Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the gate of Xingcheng City, a group of warriors were ready to go. Yongchang Pavilion is one of the 3 major forces in Dohai County, which means Yongchang in the martial arts. This time Yongchang Pavilion organized a team of 100 people to explore near Guanlei Temple. The team was led by 3 great martial arts masters at the 9th level of innate realm. Naturally, there are more innate martial arts masters in Yongchang Pavilion, but some people are busy with other things, and some people have no plans to go to Guanlei Temple to practice. 3 great martial arts masters initiated this action, so only 94 people gathered at one time. When the burly man brought the 6 Luo Xiu over, everyone couldn't help but look at them. A burly man named Pengcheng stepped forward and reported what happened to the 6 people to the 3 leading martial artists. Hearing that one of the 6 people who had been recruited by the outsiders actually had an innate first level, the 3 great martial artists frowned slightly, but didn't say much. For a team of 100 people, one more or one less person does not have much impact. Humph, you are just a first-level innate person, but with this kind of strength, you are qualified to follow our team from Yongchang Pavilion to Guanlei Temple. A tall and lanky young man in a blue shirt snorted coldly, pointed at Luo Xiu, and said, "Give up your spot. I have a friend who is coming." "Why should I give up my spot to you?" Luo Xiu frowned. "Ha." The young man in blue shirt glanced at Luo Xiu with a sneer in his eyes. "Are you questioning me?" Luo Xiu's face was expressionless and he didn't speak. A sneer appeared on the lips of the young man in blue. "My friend was in seclusion before, but now he has come out of seclusion. Are you sure you don't want to give up your spot?" At the same time, The young man in blue clothes looked up at the city gate and saw a young man in white clothes approaching with a sword. The young man in blue shirt immediately laughed loudly and said, "Brother Xuanhuan, there are no more places in the 100-man team. Your place is taken by this guy." The young man in white clothes named Xuanhuan came over. Hearing this, his eyes suddenly turned cold. It's just an innate level. The three leading martial arts masters naturally saw the conflict here, but they did not intervene or stop it. In fact, for this 100-man team, it doesn't matter if there is one more person. The young man in blue shirt also deliberately stirs up trouble, but no matter what, the young man in blue shirt and Xuanhuan are also disciples of Xingcheng Pavilion and can be regarded as one of their own. You are just a third-level innate person. To everyone's surprise, Luo Xiu did not give in at all. He was tit for tat with Xuanhuan and retorted. Court death. Xuanhuan's eyes flashed with sharp light. He held the hilt of the sword with his right hand and was about to take action immediately. Chang. The sound of the war sword being unsheathed suddenly sounded, and a black lightning-like sword light flashed across, and then a burst of blood splattered, and the body of Xuanhuan flew directly backwards, with blood bleeding from the corner of his mouth. Not only that, everyone also noticed that Xuanhuan still held the hilt of the sword with his right hand. It seemed that he was knocked away before he could draw the sword. There is a blood mark on Xuanhuan's chest. If the person who struck him had not shown mercy, this sword would have been enough to disembowel him. The pupils of the people nearby couldn't help but widen, and their hearts were filled with shock. How could someone draw a sword so fast? Even the three leading martial arts masters were slightly moved. Everyone in the world's martial arts understands the principle that speed is the only way to be invincible, but there are very few people who can truly achieve the goal of being invincible through speed. The young man in blue shirt who started the trouble was also dumbfounded. When Luo Xiu looked at him, he couldn't help but swallowed his saliva. Looking a little apprehensive, Luo Xiu did not continue to take action. After all, except for the 6 people recruited from outside, the others were all people from Xingcheng Pavilion. He did not want to offend such a big force unless necessary. Okay, my little brother is pretty good. He has a first-level innate sword, and a quick sword that is comparable to a 4th-level innate sword. He has mid-level innate strength. Among the 3 great martial arts leaders, a middle-aged man nodded and said, "Since Xuanhuan is here, if you are willing to go, let's follow him together." As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking, someone brought in several one-horned horses, 101 people, 1 person and 1 rider, riding a unicorn-maned horse, which can be said to be very luxurious. You must know that this unicorn-maned horse is domesticated from a 3rd-level monster, and the price of 1 horse is over 1,000 yuan. Vitality stone, of course. This one-horned main horse is just for transportation and will not be given to outsiders like Luo Xiu. The one-horned horse ran extremely fast, and in half a day, the group arrived at the outskirts of the Guanlei Mountains. Everyone got off the one-horned horse. Someone was responsible for guarding the horses outside the mountain. Led by 3 great martial artists, a group of 100 people entered the mountain forest directly. The monsters are dormant in the deep mountains and old forests, but in the face of a powerful team of 101 innate martial arts masters, they will be killed once they appear. No one pays attention to the corpses of those 2nd-level monsters. The value of some materials is simply not worth it. He will not be looked down upon by innate martial arts masters. However, as they go deeper and deeper, the monsters everyone encounters have reached level 3. Whoever kills the monsters will own the materials. As for the 4th-level monsters, they did not appear. It can be seen that Xingcheng Pavilion must have mastered a safe route. A strong martial artist has cleared the powerful monsters on this route, and can directly reach the Guanlei Temple. The most dangerous one was encountering a group of tiger-striped poisonous spiders. This is a kind of poisonous spider with tiger stripes on its body. If bitten by its poisonous fangs, even an innate martial artist will die. Every spider has it. The size of a wash basin, hundreds of them swarmed out from a bush. This is a 3rd-level monster. Its fangs and poison sacs are valuable materials, but it is difficult to hunt because it lives in groups. The tiger-striped poisonous spider was very fast, and 7 or 8 people in the team lost their lives, and more than 30 people were poisoned. Even after taking the antidote pill, their faces were pale, the battlefield was a mess, with blood and smelly liquid everywhere, and the corpses of tiger-striped poisonous spiders were everywhere. The three leading martial artists all looked serious. They had lost so many men before they even reached Guanlei Temple. It was a bad start. Fortunately, this place is not far from the Guanlei Temple area, and the tiger-striped poisonous spiders retreated with heavy losses. Otherwise, if they fight to the end, there will be even more casualties. After the team rested for a while, they continued on their way. Seeing that the sky was getting dark, the team stopped in a stone forest. Guanlei Temple is located in the central area of Guanlei Mountains. It takes at least 2 days to get there. Among the three great martial arts leaders, there was an old man who was a third-level formation mage. After the team was stationed in the stone forest, he began to arrange formations around the stone forest. Luo Xiu is now a 5th-level formation master. Although he cannot set up formations without formation flags, he can see that the old man has arranged formations that isolate the atmosphere, defensive formations, trapping formations, and fantasy array. The Guanlei Mountains in the middle of the night are undoubtedly dangerous, especially when everyone is already deep into the area, so formation methods are the most practical in this situation. As night falls, the roars of beasts in the mountains and forests are heard one after another. Except for those who were injured in the previous fight with the tiger-striped poisonous spider, everyone else is very energetic. Even though they know that the formations have been arranged around them, they still no one dares to let down their guard. Luo Xiu leaned against a stone pillar, closed his eyes slightly, and relaxed his senses. The second picture of the original law of the Wheel of Life and Death appeared in his mind, and he understood the mystery of it. Compared with the first law diagram, this second diagram is more profound and obscure. Even if it is just a scratch, it is difficult for Luo Xiu to understand it at his current state. Roar! Suddenly, an earth-shaking roar rang out, and more than 90 innate martial arts masters in the stone forest were alarmed. Everyone opened their eyes, their expressions solemn. Even though there was a formation blocking the way, this beast's roar shocked everyone's energy and blood. It was obvious that a monster that could make such a roar was definitely extraordinary. The roar of the beast is getting closer and closer. Although it is impossible to see clearly in the dark night, all innate martial arts masters have the ability to perceive. A huge monster appears in everyone's perception. This is a monster beast with purple scales all over its body. There is a thick golden mane around its neck. Its body is about 7 feet long. It is majestic and strong. Its fierce eyes shine with a strange green light. Purple-scaled golden-maned beast. A great martial artist exclaimed. "Oh my God, how could we encounter such a terrifying guy?" The other two great martial artists also changed their colors. The other people in the team all looked extremely ugly. The purple-scaled golden-maned beast is a 4th-level monster. An adult purple-scaled golden-maned beast is comparable to a martial arts master at the 9th level of the god refining. Even if a martial arts master encounters such a terrifying guy, he will have to stay away, making it almost difficult to kill him. It is said that if the purple-scaled golden-maned beast transforms and evolves, it can step into the 5th level category, comparable to the king of martial arts, and give birth to a pair of wings. It is called the purple-winged golden-maned beast, which is the same level as the two-headed ghost tiger. Although there is a breath-isolating formation arranged near the stone forest, it has no effect on the purple-scaled golden-maned beast because the level of the 3rd-level formation is not enough. Boom! There was a deafening loud noise, and the sound of cracking and shattering made everyone's faces look even more ugly. The purple-scaled golden-maned beast is attacking the defensive array deployed near the stone forest. The 3rd-level formation is basically useless in front of such a powerful monster and cannot stop it for long. Escape! Someone yelled, and everyone fled in different directions. Although there are more than 90 people here, no one dares to compete with the purple-scaled golden-maned beast. Even the 3 leading martial arts masters will be torn into pieces if they meet each other. Crack! In the night sky, a bolt of lightning flashed out of thin air. This night was terrifying and heart-stopping for all the innate martial artists. Luo Xiu also joined the fleeing crowd. He didn't think he could resist the purple-scaled golden-maned beast. He had used the 10 directions after-image movement to its extreme. With only one step left to perfect the movement, 9 afterimages would flash between movements and stillness, like ghosts in the dark night, making it difficult to catch traces. Ah! 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 Screams sounded from time to time. The purple-scaled golden-maned beast was definitely countless times more terrifying than the tiger-striped poisonous spiders. After the formation was broken, people would be torn to pieces and devoured every moment. There were several more flashes of lightning and thunder, and drizzle began to fall in the sky, but the rain was not too heavy. At a certain moment when lightning illuminated the mountain forest, Luo Xiu saw one of the great martial arts masters at the 9th level of innate being beaten into a blood mist by a purple claw. Escape! Only this word filled Luo Xiu's mind. Roar! The purple-scaled golden-maned beast let out a thundering roar. Luo Xiu's fast-running movements froze slightly, and he felt a terrifying aura locking him. His expression suddenly changed. He didn't expect that he had escaped so far and was still targeted by the purple-scaled golden-maned beast. A loud rumbling sound came from behind, the big tree fell down, and the purple-scaled golden-maned beast ran rampant. Luo Xiu could vaguely see the fierce eyes flashing green, as if a ghost was approaching quickly. When a monster reaches level 4, it will also have divine consciousness and can perceive a certain area. Luo Xiu probably escaped too quickly, so he attracted the attention of the purple-scaled golden-maned beast. This beast was completely in the posture of a hunter. Teasing these human warriors, as long as they are within the range of its spiritual consciousness, no one can escape from the hunt of this beast. Chapter 80, Understanding the Intention of the Sword. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The purple-scaled golden-maned beast is equivalent to a powerful person at the level of the divine refining martial sect, and the range that its divine consciousness can cover is limited. Luo Xiu pushed his speed to the extreme, and shadows appeared wherever he passed, making it difficult to distinguish his true body. Despite this, his speed is still not as fast as that of the purple-scaled golden-maned beast. This terrifying monster can cross hundreds of meters in one leap, ignoring any obstacles, causing big trees to fall and rocks to collapse. Xiantian changes. Luo Xiu suddenly activated his secret technique, and his speed increased in an instant. With a swish, he opened some distance between him and the purple-scaled golden-maned beast. Kuai Jian Ju itself is a special force-generating technique, and when applied to body techniques, it also has the magical effect of increasing speed. At this moment, coupled with the increase in Xiantian transformation, Luo Xiu's explosive speed in an instant is comparable to some of the more powerful god-refining martial sects. However, after the burst of speed, Luo Xiu felt his energy and blood fluctuate, and his head felt dizzy. This was because the Xiantian transformation put a certain load on his body. However, he no longer cares about so much at this moment. If he is caught up by the purple-scaled golden-maned beast, he will definitely die. A moment later, in Luo Xiu's perception, the distance between him and the purple-scaled golden-maned beast was getting farther and farther, and it seemed that the terrifying peak-level 4th-level monster had given up on chasing him. The purple-scaled golden-maned beast already possesses spiritual intelligence. When it first chased Luo Xiu, it was only interested in this fast prey. When it discovered that this prey ran away very quickly, other prey took advantage of this. Opportunity has escaped very far. So the purple-scaled golden-maned beast gave up chasing Luo Xiu and turned to chasing other prey. The purple-scaled golden-maned beast is obviously not that stupid to give up more other prey in order to eat one prey. Luo Xiu also thought of this, and felt a little lucky in his heart. He did not dare to stay where he was, and kept the fastest speed, trying to stay away from this area. Unknowingly, the sky was getting brighter, and Luo Xiu also felt that his cultivation level was somewhat depleted, so he found a hidden place to recover. Take out 2 formation discs from the storage ring and throw them out. They are the 5th level hidden formation disc and the defensive formation disc. The formation plate, also known as the formation device, is a treasure that is sacrificed by the formation master. The formation is engraved on it. Even warriors who do not understand the formation can use the vitality stone to activate it. For safety reasons, Luo Xiu directly used the 5th level formation disc. He obtained the treasure house left by King Buchenwu, which contained many level 5 formations, but there were no offensive formations. Half a day later, Luo Xiu returned to his peak state. He took out the simplified map of the Guanlei Mountains and found that he had entered the deep hinterland of the Guanlei Mountains after escaping last night. Here, you may encounter terrifying monsters above level 4 at any time. At the same time, Luo Xiu also found that his location was very close to Guanlei Temple. After putting away the formation disc, Luo Xiu walked cautiously towards the Guanlei Temple. He was not walking very fast, and his senses were emitted every moment. Once he found the aura of a powerful monster, he would immediately avoid it and go around it. After nearly a day passed, Luo Xiu felt a sharp aura coming towards him. Not far ahead, there is a mountain peak only a few hundred meters high. On the top of the mountain, there is a temple, which is the Guanlei Temple, with Guanlei Temple as the center. Within a radius of about 10 miles, everywhere is filled with the aura of sharp blades. In this area, you can see crisscrossing ravines everywhere, and some traces that have existed for an unknown number of years. Sometimes emitting terrible murderous aura, which makes people intimidated. Here is a place where a strong man named Guanlei quietly cultivates. Luo Xiu doesn't know what level of cultivation that Guanlei is, but he can leave such ancient ruins and still has the terrifying sword intention after countless years. Lu Shen is at least a strong man at the level of Wujuan, right? Looking closely, Luo Xiu did not see any other warriors near the Guanlei Temple. After hesitating for a moment, he stepped forward. Luo Xiu's forward speed was not fast. He was only in the outer area at the moment. Although the sword's intention was sharp, it had no impact on him. However, as he went deeper, the sword intent that came towards him became more fierce and sharp. There are no monsters near Guanlei Temple. They are probably afraid of the sharp sword intent here, which makes the monsters in the forest subconsciously think that there is a powerful hermit cultivator here. Suddenly, Luo Xiu's footsteps suddenly stopped, and the shadow sword behind him trembled violently, as if there was an invisible sword, striking towards his head. Chang, that the war sword was unsheathed, and Luo Xiu swung his sword to slash the air in front of him. The black sword light was as fast as lightning. A figure seemed to appear in Luo Xiu's mind, holding a sword. A terrifying murderous aura erupted from his body, and he slashed out with one strike. Kick, kick, kick. Luo Xiu took 3 steps back, his face turned slightly pale. Just now he sensed a sword coming towards him, which was actually an illusion caused by the artistic conception retained by the sword's intention. The artistic conception has transcended the scope of ordinary martial arts. Luo Xiu is still far away from condensing and mastering his own martial arts artistic conception, so in the artistic conception confrontation just now, he lost instantly. At the same time, Luo Xiu noticed that not far ahead, there was a blue rock with a knife mark on it. The sword intent he felt just now was transmitted from the sword marks on the rock. The sword's intention leaves a mark. Luo Xiu's pupils shrank and he stepped forward again. Suddenly, a figure appeared in his mind again. The sword was slashed out with an unyielding will, as if time had stopped in an instant. I can't stop such a knife. Such thoughts suddenly appeared in Luo Xiu's consciousness, and he instinctively wanted to retreat. He took 3 steps back just now because he could not face such a knife, but this time, Luo Xiu resisted the idea of retreating. Under the pressure of this unyielding sword intent, his face became paler and he felt like he couldn't breathe, so strong. Luo Xiu was shocked in his heart. If someone really used such a sword, he would be killed instantly. No matter how fast his sword was or how exquisite his movement was, because that unyielding sword intention had already locked him completely, making it impossible to avoid him. Boom. Because Luo Xiu did not retreat, the knife seemed to have really hit him, causing a sharp pain in his mind, followed by a mouthful of blood spurting out from his mouth. After vomiting blood, Luo Xiu's face became even paler, but he still did not retreat. The scene of that knife kept reappearing in his mind, especially the indomitable will, which gave him some vague insights. With a slight flick of his wrist, the shadow sword jumped out of his hand. He closed his eyes and slashed out with the sword. The air in front made a tearing sound, and the black and white sword light surged out, letting the sharp pavement come. All the sword intent was forced to dissipate. Luo Xiu suddenly opened his eyes. The sword he just made can be said to be an imitation of the sword that contained unyielding will. Although it was an imitation, it was more advanced than the 3 sword moves recorded in the 5th level martial art of Aurora sword technique. Powerful, Luo Xiu felt a little excited. If he could understand the mystery of sword intention, transcend the scope of swordsmanship, and step into the level of swordsmanship, his strength would be upgraded to a higher level. However, Luo Xiu also knew very well that he was still far from understanding the meaning of the sword, and imitating the sword was just a form, without its meaning. After calming down, his joyful mood was like pouring cold water on him. Imitation of others was undoubtedly the wrong path. What he really wanted to do was not to imitate, but to learn by analogy to understand his own swordsmanship, and he is far from reaching the level of swordsmanship. The first thing he needs to do is not to try to understand the mystery of the artistic conception of martial arts, but to improve his swordsmanship from the realm of Desheng to the realm of perfection. The realm of martial arts, like cultivation, is one step at a time. If you have the idea of understanding the sword's intention directly from the swordsmanship and entering the swordsmanship, you will go astray. You must proceed step by step and practice the swordsmanship to perfection first. After having this idea in his mind, Luo Xiu continued to walk towards the rock where the knife mark was, and the scene of the knife strike kept reappearing in his mind. The closer he got to the knife mark, the more terrifying the unyielding intent contained in that knife became, as if his soul was about to be torn apart. Immersed in this state of enlightenment, Luo Xiu swung the shadow sword in his hand from time to time. Under the pressure of this sword intention, his swordsmanship realm was gradually improving. Finally, Luo Xiu walked up to the rock and reached out to touch the knife marks on the rock. Vaguely, the indomitable will became clearer and clearer in my mind, as if there was a blood-stained figure looking up to the sky and roaring in the heavy rain, refusing to succumb to fate. Martial intention, is it the fusion of mental state and martial arts? Luo Xiu seemed to have some realization. He is only 14 years old and does not have such a state of mind. His swordsmanship has also not reached a perfect level, and he cannot integrate his state of mind into his swordsmanship and transform it into sword intent. After understanding the meaning of the sword and drawing parallels, what Luo Xiu gained the most was that he had some understanding of the artistic conception of martial arts and experienced it himself. The state of mind requires experience, and Luo Xiu is young and has too little experience. It is not because of his lack of understanding. At this moment, Luo Xiu's eyes widened and he felt a terrifying aura sweep across his body. He raised his eyes and saw a figure in purple flying across the sky. The fierce sword intent near Guanlei Temple had no effect on this person at all. This was a man in purple clothes, and it was this man's consciousness that just scanned Luo Xiu. A boy in the innate realm who dares to come to Guanlei Temple to understand the meaning of the sword is very brave. The man in purple just glanced at Luo Xiu lightly, then put his hands on his back and headed towards the Guanlei Temple at the top of the mountain. Looking at the leaving figure of the man in purple, Luo Xiu breathed a sigh of relief. Being able to fly in the sky near Guanlei Temple was at least a powerful existence at the level of king of martial arts. If Guanlei Temple is divided into 3 areas, then Luo Xiu is only in the periphery, then the central area, and finally Guanlei Temple. The deeper you go, the stronger the sword intention will be. There is also great danger in it, because when you feel the sword intention, if you cannot resist the pressure of the sword intention, your soul consciousness will collapse and your soul will be scattered. The man in purple just now probably came here to understand the meaning of the sword, and went straight to the Guanlei Temple at the top of the mountain. His martial arts realm must have reached an extremely high level. Luo Xiu was not the first warrior to come near Guanlei Temple to understand the meaning of the sword, so he was only glanced at by the man in purple and stopped paying attention. Continuing to walk forward, the oncoming sword energy became more and more fierce, and the sword energy appeared out of thin air, like dense raindrops, shrouding Luo Xiu. Every sword energy was deadly. Luo Xiu concentrated on it, and the shadow sword in his hand flashed quickly, crushing the sword energy into pieces. One after another, some people came to the vicinity of Guanlei Temple, including innate martial arts masters, god-refining martial arts sects, and even martial arts kings. Suddenly, a scream came from the foot of the mountain. The head of a strong man in the realm of the god-refining martial sect suddenly exploded into a mist of blood. The headless body fell to the ground on its back, dying.